tu con quale nyuga share kusopoyo Elengu metuga kona lam Ejenengu metuga dura lam Na dura tuwa bamba zanye dur mishwana Idara gwa mi kona chunga jaukel Denwa gwa mi chola rain werkel Dakwala jegeti daga rola kaushong Denwa gwa mi pala shuri noramwan Dakon go mi chola koni werkel La dura tuwa birani werangwan Bidwar ben la rani koni werangwan Chawi metu kon jani rei shari kon Erama nyurga wa erama tirade Biaje metu kon jani rei shari kon Bel kon along lo wetele dorme len kon Idera kwa mi chala koni werkel Den dwar kwa mi chala koni werkel Dapwale jigeti daga rola kapshong Elengu metuga kona lam Ejenengu metuga dura lam Na dura tuwa bamba zane dur mishwana Idara gwa mi kona chunga jaukel Denwa gwa mi chola rain werkel Dakwala jegeti daga rola kapshong Denwa gwa mi pala shuri noramwan Dakon go mi chala koni werkel Dediti mwani wal te chala de munden Bidwar tuwa bawa tong le winner Lem nyala twara tit kulatin Idura bini jen bedaba nagbang Jenen te jol yu kona long kam dore Kwa kwich ke win me diko tala dor me lenkon Jenen me tu kona tala kon jaukel Ela me bitu me choli werkel Dapwale jigeti daga rola kapshong Elengu metuga kona lam Ejenengu metuga dura lam Na dura tuwa bamba zane dur mishwana Idara gwa mi kona chunga jaukel Denwa gwa mi chola rain werkel Dapwale jigeti daga rola kapshong Denwa gwa mi pala shuri noramwan Dakon go mi chala koni werkel Emu me tu kon, emu me nyun kon Kwana nyurga share Banen ken mani diali uni ken kantori Tel madadan lejene tu kon along La chichi kon che chamera mileni tok La kon apelde abe chonga dey Elengu metuga kona lam Ejenengu metuga kona lam La dura tuwa bamba zanye dur mishwana Idera gwa mi kona chunga jaukel Denwel gwa mi chala kona werkel Dapwala jegeti daga rola kapshong Denwel gwa mi pala shuri noramwan Dakon go mi chala koni werkel Elengu metuga kona lam Ejenengu metuga dura lam Na dura tuwa bamba zane dur mishwana Idara gwa mi kona chunga jaukel Denwa gwa mi chola rain werkel Dakwala jegeti daga rola kapshong Denwa gwa mi pala shuri noramwan Dakon go mi chala koni werkel Tu con quale nyuga share kusopoyo Elengu metuga kona lam Ejenengu metuga dura lam Na dura tuwa bamba zanye dur mishwana Idara gwa mi kona chunga jaukel Denwa gwa mi chola rain werkel Dakwala jegeti daga rola kapshong apology get it, I got all the caption. And then move to a corner, lem. And then move to a door, lem. La Dora to a mama, and the door, Miss Anna. Idara gwa me kona chunga joker, then gwa me chora in worker. The apology get it, I got all the caption. Then gwa me pass you in the one. The Congo, me chala kon in worker. Take the money while take a lot of money. Big door talk, but what's on the winner? Let me alert, try to take no Latin. He do the baby, then we have an album. Then into joy, you call a long come dory. Cock which you win me, did go tell a door me Lincoln. Then I'm a two corner telecon joker. And I'm a man, big to me, shooting worker. The police.
Mendena la nijero, hewongode konloy, kelo, so, right, so. Mendena la nijero, hewongode konloy, jawa, so, right, so. Pon koniji kaini akashol konanas, nesane. Del kondom ni chiang mi chije kolokon itilat che kukla chitar chejo winara ite kangaktial mi chamgo jenitul heko shana meni kurchinir konsu ishimlos chejo winara ite gareidial hamedagatit kan mon hasala gomisha chang waditin Kalus koni jos jirala kalana bel suka Miranya ram kala kon kangwan na mishal no ananitin bum niken Hechangwang cha shandan kuo shi bom we konsu Menden alani jaro Hewang wade no loy jawa shar right So, Mendena lane jarodan, hewongode lame kuswa unwar pan konji kaine akashol konanas nesani del kondom ni chiang mi chije kalukoni chilat je pukla chitar chejo wanwara ite kangaktial mi chamgo janitor Eko chana meni koshinir konsu Tishengas Chejo wanwara ite karwe ideal Hamedaga dit gen mon Esela gwamisha chang wedatin Tothin kalus koni jos jirala kalana biel suka Maranya ram kella kon Kangwan na michal na wani naitin bum niken Eshangwang shashandan Ko shibom we konsu yeah I couldn't know hintiam jel yende kulelwang jel banana ne shop kamijel banana ne liang kamijel banana ne lat kamijel
Tôi đã trả lối ni đó Khói lời đã trả lối nhớ Nếu đã cứ cha Dạ khá đoal Balik khá đá Dạ gò riêt mất Pek đã qua yes Pek khá khó Coi đã trả lung ni đo Coi lời đã trả lung nhoan Nếu Gakawicha Jakadwal Palakada Jagoriatumot Pegaguayas Kagako Ay you were kind of good in Charan Menagan man Kanagat Kagat you were kind of good in Charan Menagan man Kanagat Kagat Chapala Jikajiri Chalabal Judiana Ramitagai Juni Chapala Jikajiri Chalabal Chugga Kedwa Jigga Chapala Jikajiri Chalabal Joy Karanga Bunkanaman Chapala Jikajiri Chalabal Gada Joy Karanga Bunkanaman Chapala Jikajiri Chalabal Balketu Daga Chavramirol Chapala Jikajiri Chalabal Dukatincha Chakan Watare Walaja Chapala Jikajiri Chalabal Kinametwa Gamias Karangaran Chapala Jikajiri Chalabal Rana ko Rana kos Rana ko Rana kos Karan kos Mekaran konararan Echangpal naro ke Tega tikibire Meran kos Mekaran konararan Echangpal naro ke Tega tikibire Koida chalun nido Koida chalun Gakawicha Jakadwal Palakada Jagoriatumot Pegaguayas Kagako I let the mind tot Jan Wangarum di Melara Dormije the Mude Jarwe Javacha Naidal Makankai Mela boot the will to yen no de kaj the boot the will to the bangong bakai around the parallel yet come around the parallel around Chakonaran a jungle naroka around the parallel yet come around the parallel Mekaran konararan Echangpal naroka Tikibire Wangarum di Melara Dormije the Mumide Jarwe Awayo Dudu Ked Bering a Dago Kawi Chiebe Pin Dog Kabangwang the Bentele Jewel Lunan and Yamdu Tanda a parallel Yet Ramiranda a parallel Around Chakonararat Echangpal naroka Tega tikibire Around the parallel Yet Ramiranda a parallel Mekaran konararan Echangpal naroka Tega tikibire Koida chalunido Koida chalunido kada chagariat tumot kege guayas kagako Champal naro ke dega tichi birwech.
All right, Tagalong, Luka, Male. Luka, Belunjok, thank you very much. Yen Dial and Guy Bulwadme, Kanas News Network. I hope Yen Joda clear. Gualong and Wale Sunday, Kachang Wanga Pai Day 2025, and Wale Kanas News Network Bantige 1 hour and a half, or maybe less. Betam Kulario. Taka guess Mpai Gian, Benin, but Belunjok for sure, and then the native Meganang. Committee got time you Mugur ne join, and then we been Jen studio, be studio Jen let them on, then be link be to click. I hope she and then down. Be we sham do. Maybe miti computer. Any device and use the big sham do a link pin down. So quick stay, click it, and then get studio. And then Karamakui ladder, and then go to Bradio Berke Berk we been ke video okay let me we been ke messenger video call. I'm go call. Hello Male chow live video then been join. Jawara yenta bye bye. So welcome Luca. Welcome back again. Chitake network issue what or dan jaw de ling jaw do chi mute chiro de mute. Okay.
Galang, lingi nga.
Thank you very much.
Galang, malak
Man gua enaran baja cheer and show dan ko ba je ne ko kien me 1 hour and a half show jen gua cha de la ke 1 hour ke 1 hour and a half show so we would talk and then be a bachelor here ram gur ben ke stream yar mala bi ge jen won ke mitiga time ke stream yar ben ke messenger video call bi yor ke messenger video call bi ben link go me ke studio ba jinen ke ba jinen ne dia so jen we la bekana so shoda 90% by run ke stream yard to bien video ko la play sometime so chagwalo welcome Luca again yene dia de we thank you please share it ko ba jinen ko ken na me anas news network and topic right kon the quide amang ko kon dia ken ko dia la do South Sudan ja kon attack helicopter bombardment ke ngad ke hol pangak ke rei pangak cha target telmala surprise to kon ko timeje to ka na ter katin wan ja ben ka lungo chuk showaka ko ba county bo bo kon ka kien kon to kon ko according to thin breaking news we are at war cheap surprise ko ne te social media gwabe we are at war ke regime ko South Sudan go ne regime change to dia legale point ko the only way to go tell the dia go kon mekana nak tell change to South Sudan ba change ko ta ba change mal ne de one mal tikan one then tell mal tenga ke South Sudan ba change ko ta ba change mal milinga je kwana bogrenali a part of war mikabana ko a part of war ko chetu go shankel ko la gwa nang until cha regime moina ke dysfunction ke moina disconnection me yer wait a shara mut ko and then be change be to war so no more again le naten to content we are at war she something breaking news we are at war bombardment cha be terrible stop until the regime to je topic right ko kuide kakan got dia incident to ko panga kon dia the country tin we kon ke massive kenor community other generation ngu let ko mo ban la do and then doran chagwa ku to kon ke say ku undemocratic system ki kon buy we never shy for anything wrongdoing never kon ki jo kon nek banaji de la you can check anything me undemocratic system. During the war against the North, you can show film, very film, Kodi, South Sudan independent. Tell away the DN. Jen to general con politician con time it up. So you can give up, but you can talk commit injustice. So South Sudan independent, you can get and today and one like South Sudan, tenukon ke emity independent little meaning. Tenukon ke independent korowade. The meaning of independent chide jegana word. The meaning of independent a government which has structure, an ideal, kunugdian kaja and mandukar white rule. Ko government a permanent thing. She a doom generation. Amid the thing permanently. So South Sudan just an independent country with a meaning. That's why native one shingala refugee there with them. Native one shingala refugee will can take a South Sudan. Could with the meaning of government. Then the country independent. That's why in Nigeria and South Sudan, in Kenya in big number, in Uganda in big number, in Egypt, in South Sudan, I mean in Ethiopia, in India, man Central Africa, all the way to Burkina Faso, in Boko, Quick, what do you think in the God? Who keep pointing over? Who wake up by pink, who the Micham to the Nuku protect, to the lot, did young Tinity, can what everything, did year, who young one don't blood you by protect. So, man, take South Sudan, Kur, Chijo, Major Conde convert community, what you can say, and a democratic system, Chikona buy. We never shy, Chikora talk, and then the one allowed the joy. We never con, you never con during the Buja years con Gajalao. I con a quick cure in the South Sudan independent. And while me, Menaka con, Melu con, Mishui con, Melar con, or quick cure South Sudan bus symbol of democracy. I con through. Kina the two kido the two teledwang. Na me chiru go no balel amer. Go the entire country by change. Kasheni queen wergoro. The entire country by change. Benedi albi shing peacefully because the democracy that we did. But I'm quite election. But President quite or the top. President not quite election to point any political part. Is there any big government? But Governor Bakwanji said election. Mu kon let ke member of parliament ba kwan ke election mu na ngot ko na continue ke the so-called county commissioners. They will be elected by the people they serve. That's it. Ajena good corner. Mu look democracy. Ana lu banara nek. Tell them MP about appointed on people mchang native or white. By the way, Canadian electronic chicken chicken can't key stay. Because Jaga capital city, Kajuba, DJ win go can big city in country good. He can represent people, they represent themselves. Therefore, she can't go to system more. Me never con Liu. We are working with South Sudan by transform core not through peace. Ko peace tell yalla. The quicker the more. Ko topic well known con can be introduction be shwang check ku ne kon dia ngai kon topic we kon kwide. Incident ni to ko panga charge panga chaga attack kana mo go board kana neck kana displace a further war. Change chi easy be go kor be go na lu be go mana mo go board. The quicker the more to kon ga demanda ni luka kan bitang min dol ngai konal chaben medan gwad mechanized news network so and wale right con kebio are the community are the people of the country represent work on ni what kind of direction ko ter yedi kanti diala le telling kon anga yet kon jam yino kon regime ngai kon ji yino kon regime yino kon Uganda yida fora boltin regime tero loko ke kurne pon regime che de yet ko noir while in fact take care ganwari ke de yet ko noir la panken ke te mai ngai ken 100% they will never find noir kuno choben Uganda but ya kon be scared Uganda West or Sudanese rebel ya kon be scared ke ya kon be displaced that way dan kon be yet ya kon remove the South Sudan ban the tin ban win that way ban yet So to go along and tam the man Danny Luca be my DBLF, Chilona test go sometime more the Kula Monday Katana there was a Sunday go continue North America, can South America as well. Yene idea to go other park to Eastern world, somewhere part of the world to Bagaye. Chabago she ben Luca can Chilona test go Ben, thank you very much, Chilona test. So Jiram Kelmina the Tunisian ngay ko na dama dan ci agu jala CEO and founder Junub Peace Network. So ramkel mo galom jin ci agu ga ka por pale ga no ci mi ci gore bi ci kwen te go. Thank you very much. So Luca, welcome back again. Lo na te ko iben.
Kalong, thank you, brother Gaibol. Thank you very much for welcoming me and again giving me this opportunity. Ka forum do wale. But I want to appreciate you ka introduction in Anichila. Ka topic dan elane wala me. I think introduction mo go along ka jan gwal de kaliu. So kelebo watin o matana kor. Here yane kunga yo dora ne te kor marwadi Sudan te kor. Me yo la kor kaliu te ka parameters. Goro bane te ka understanding ka parameters na kore nane ya micha kam kona kuma South Sudan as a whole. Ngot ka kulin within ka definition ka parameters kore ane me kind clarify ta kama goro ba come out ka ba lar nwer community. Koma right no goro no ne kontilinga kone ken bana understanding no kon bane nywa bane markele ke. And incident pa to panaje me chite ka casualties te ya na kuma Sudan cha ka bom ka fan ka all fan gag mana health center mo sesfa mina na kuna mo inawal a very unfortunate incident me di long ka no mo enyo kwe point to our call kon na ite konti to ku undergo victimization ka South Sudan right now maburku me South Sudan te ka mal teleja mal me take existence ko mal me chom no bi shab na ka janna ma je kana tho na mo ya mal area dan ka South Sudan jena ngadien me yana bure e kon wore tana ka ethnic and larka kon kuma South Sudan kuma Salva Kiir ethnic cleansing of the Nuer genocide towards Nuer ten e cha believe ken me cha believe ko yejemen tana ka misconception about definition of what is called a genocide. But according to the United Nations, any form of mass displacement and any form of ethnic massacre along the lines of tribes, along the lines of religion, along the lines of ancestry kind of language, it constitutes to what is called a ethnic genocide. And over the time, over these several months, the key incident waka kan nasir me chika gwe chika ku samare kan di albeje no tanaka category kan ede kon kwa marginalized ke take ku qualify ko den ro categorize kwa kon ler ke genocide ke South Sudan. Lakin ta meli ka tang wara kon liem no ba kon dong na che na cha na kana ka 2013 then bana wake up, which is very wrong. And nake while about 3 people back a bomb big liu next tomorrow another 10 people mawe compound together a general ethnic genocide. That is what constitutes a genocide. Kibumno ya aba naira 1,000 bakana in kakel then biya hunga ke biya you wake up on the lark ka genocide. No. A chang na ramkel wale ruang baramkel nyo as long as no more a non-state actor and no more a civilian metal makabe a genocide. So en ganware menake me kwatage the government of Salva Kiir without any genuine justification for it. It constitutes to what is called a genocide. But con tele understanding matter con tele chana with the desired attention that we should be giving it. And by the time Bubanio realize it might become too late. So if you go back to 2013, within a period of 1 week's time, already more than 10,000 people were killed. And there was not wide sharing of knowledge here, wide criticism here, and community outrage, which a genocide deserves. Can I come there attention? Let me reference to a few weeks ago, the Minister of Information, Michael McQuillan, came out and said, Yani, jan ma boka na ka bom na kere ne bola boka na ka Palestine Israel. He likened what was happening in South Sudan to what is happening in Palestine and Israel. Categorically, mi kuli nyo ne no intent ko ba no baka mo genocide exists within the governance of South Sudan. And then a few weeks later, Chikibera, they brought out a document which is ethnically profiling the community alongside those that are hostile and those that are friendly to the government. And Namoba, you disinformation, because when the government wants to target a section of a people, baka dongo baka profile, then be disinformation be carry out, baka target, baka level, like a hostile, so that better justification, but those are all forms and tools of elements for a government that is planning to ethnically massacre individuals, kind of citizens. A cleansing of Melandem. Secondly, and propaganda, kind of hate speech, even the government is performing it. A few days ago, the Minister of Information came out and said he came and endorsed the profiling and ethnic profiling of the Nuer community. But yet, even within other communities in South Sudan, there were communities that also went and disarmed the SSPDF. But what has the government done? Has it come out and profiled them or called them certain names and labeled them? So no more. As a community, we should wake up and know that what is happening, it is not. It's not a war. It is a genocide that is happening on the community. But all of us are watching, and none of us is saying anything or doing anything about it, which is very wrong. So if we are going to sit down and allow a replication of what is happening in Palestine and Israel, we will, by the time we wake up, it will be too late. Currently, it is happening in Jonglei, in Jonglei. It started from Upper Nile and Nasser. It is now coming in Fangag and those areas of Akoba. If it finishes these people, it's eventually going to go to Bentiu, because what have these people done? What have they done to the government of Salva Kiir? Let us come to definition of what is called White Army, because a lot of people on social media claim that White Army is fighting for Riek Machar. Why are they having arms? The question should be, why are White Army having arms in South Sudan? In 2013, their government that is supposed to protect civilians gave arms to individuals that went and killed people door to door because of their ethnic affiliation and because of their association with a man who is leading the opposition party. That is the reason why the White Army are having arms. And then if the White Army are having arms, one truth, one fact that all South Sudanese know is that there are ethnic militias that are prevalent and in existence in all parts of South Sudan. Agwelek is one of them. Abushok is one of them. Tidgweng is one of them. Even White Army is one of them. Why are all of them having arms? It's because the government of South Sudan has failed to provide security for the people of South Sudan as a whole. So what led to the Nasser incident was because the government wanted to unfairly go and disarm a section of youths that were at one time fighting with it. The White Army were fighting the government of South Sudan because of the injustice that it did to them. So what is happening now, or the war that is happening, was provoked not because of the White Army. The White Army is not fighting the government of South Sudan. The White Army is fighting in self-defense of the marginalization that is being conducted or carried out by the government of South Sudan on the civilians. If the government's intention was to disarm the White Army because they were having arms, I believe that any form of disarmament that is to happen in any place in a country like South Sudan, which is having arms proliferation like is in existence now, it should go through peaceful means. Why don't we involve the governors? Why don't we involve the local system of governances in place, so that if there is any form of disarmament that is being done to a section of a community, it should be done by the leaders that are governing those people? Why do you send an army? Why do you mobilize a group of ethnic militias to go and fight? So that means the White Army, the incident that they did in Nasser, it might have been wrong, but government provoked the current civil war that is in existence in South Sudan. Let me come to, if what we're seeing is retaliation for the fact that White Army might have attacked the government garrison. what involves the killing of civilians? Why is the government of South Sudan killing civilians? Why is it bombing civilians that have not taken up arms to fight the government of South Sudan? Why is that happening? As of today, a lot of people like to believe that everybody in South Sudan is suffering. Everybody in South Sudan is suffering. Yes, everybody in South Sudan is suffering, but the Nuer people, the suffering of a Nuer person in South Sudan is greater than all other South Sudanese. Let me give you examples. Currently, as we speak, the Nuer people in South Sudan have been displaced within the borders of the country. They live in POCs. If you go to the UNIMIS in across South Sudan, the dire conditions in which our children have grown up, some of those kids went when they were 1 year old. Now they are more than 15 years old because they've stayed in those camps for over 13 years. That is the ideal situation for a Nuer person in South Sudan. Another one, Nuer people are being killed ethnically targeted by the government of South Sudan. Yes, everybody is suffering, but the Nuer people are being killed by the government. We should acknowledge that truth and that reality for a Nuer person in South Sudan. If all of us are suffering and the government is not killing us, we would, if you want us all to be quiet, it's okay. All of us are not having access to health, we're not having access to education, we're not having access to security. But why is the government killing Nuer civilians? Why are you going to take the arms of white army by force when there are arms across the entire country? When there are arms even in the president's backyard, why are you going to disarm them forcefully? So the assumption that South Sudanese are suffering equally with the Nuer people and we should keep quiet when they are killing Nuer people is wrong. Because for a Nuer person in South Sudan, we are quiet, but we are suffering and the government is killing us. There is no point in which we should keep quiet. So back to the topic of today, yes, there is war in existence. The parameters of this war must be defined by the white army and by the Nuer community as a whole. I still want to stand on the point that I echoed a few days ago, that the government is the one killing us as a community. The government of Salva Kiir is the one killing us as a community. There is a temptation upon which we might diverge this to be an ethnic war between us and the Dinkas as a whole. But I like to really believe that we're not fighting the Dinkas as an ethnic community of Dinkas. The Dinka that we are fighting is the person who is going to take arms and fight on behalf of Salva Kiir to kill Nuer civilians. That is the person that we're going to fight. But the people that we're fighting, I want to re-echo it, we're fighting the government of Salva Kiir because it is ethnically marginalizing and committing genocide on the Nuer people as a whole. And everybody, including all other South Sudanese who have love for this country, should be able to stand with the Nuer people in this tragedy that we're having as a country. Because at one time, whether we like it or not, no form of governance is permanent. Kiir's regime is going to go. And when Kiir's regime go, South Sudan will remain for all the 64 ethnic groups. Imagine a South Sudan where an Equatorian is going to come on power. But the history that Equatorian is going to have is that when the presidency was with a certain ethnic group, they killed us because we are a tribe. That is very wrong. So if certain individuals do not want to see that we are being killed and we're being targeted by a government that is supposed to provide security for us all South Sudanese, it is their loss. As a community, we will stand united in our call for the government of Salva Kiir to leave power, for the government of Salva Kiir to be overthrown even by military means, because now it is killing civilians, and majority of whom are only one ethnic group. That is the unfairness and the reality that exists in South Sudan right now for the Nuer people of South Sudan. Thank you. I will give it back to you.
Thank you very much. Look at it. Lona te ke right to go pitch. The reality. This is the reality. Korana me unicorn regime jana kon. And I'm to the uniform whether a Nuer we pike on the long with Salva Kiir, which means a part of the regime can the target and they target the civilian, they target the Nuer community, and then unicorn regime for sure. The fundamental meaning of this war is to remove the regime Shang Bacha Bayo Walla Bayo Bayo Mu Shang Ben Badil Gia, the General Good and the good con system, go Benedial, equali, Benedial, big take a saying, and a government built on democracy's structure. General Con. Thank you very much. Again, so na mo jira jen to ko pay late so jenne wo kon kati yung wan ko nga je tali tam ko yelong uh ko me ki ko ri te me la kon ter medan ti ye kon under our government under our independent country ci kon ñi la ko kon Southern Sudanese ye kon la kon South Sudanese which mean to kon the country mi shall recognize you more ke independent day ko ne cha kon come nation but the native good nation declared as a country, they could take control today, the particularly the SPLM, the leader, they failed this country. And then she which I think away she go. When they think a wouldn't and when don't kurma, we just kurma talk after independent a long duration of war, a continuation of the same issue, like a long time. We just incident to talk and the contract getting fight talk again during leadership of Salva Kiir.
Thank you. Ya go along with a question. Yesterday, I made a post on my Facebook post. If you go back to the incidences of 2013, immediately after 2013, there was an interview that Salva Kiir had with Stephen Saka on BBC Hard Talk. I'm sure everybody has watched that interview. There was an incident in which the president was asked by Stephen Saka about following the massacre of civilians that happened along ethnic lines in Juba. This was what your president said. The president said the Nuer people who actually went to the UNIMIS are lucky. That is what the president said. He said they are lucky. So I believe that to us, the people that know or the people that have seen what is happening in South Sudan, our president is compromised. Because if my brother Gaibol, if you were in his shoes and this is happening in your country at this moment, I'm sure you would not be happy. You would not be sitting in silence. You would not be able to watch what is happening in your backyard and you say nothing on it. So to respond to your question, I don't think this has just begun. I don't think this is just starting now. I think that our president is very ethnicized, is very compromised, and does not look at South Sudan as he has his phobia towards Riek Machar, because Riek Machar is obviously a good fit for presidency than he is. And even the AU confirmed that in 2013 there was no coup as alleged by the government of South Sudan. So meaning in 2012, when the government of South Sudan stopped oil production in Illich, you remember in 2012 we had that incident with the Sudanese government in Illich at the northern border because of the oil production, and for a moment our government stopped oil production. That rendered our government to be bankrupt for a moment, and because of that bankruptcy, the form of governance that we've inherited from Sudan as a whole is one in which political loyalty is bought through monetary forms. The government of Salva Kiir needs to have money for it to be buying loyalty along ethnic lines, loyalty from within the diverse ethnic groups, within the army generals. So because of that incident, and because the government, ever since we got independence, it wasn't it was not delivering services to the people of South Sudan, and Riek Machar was coming out vocally to speak out his intentions to contest for SPLM Black leadership in the forthcoming elections, which were scheduled for 2015. That was the genesis of what happened. Why we're in this war right now? We're in this war because our president is afraid to leave presidency to Riek Machar through any means. He doesn't want elections because he knew he was going. By then, Riek Machar's popularity was way better than his was. That is what led to the incident. And in 2013, after the killing of Nuer civilians by forces that he, even in the same interview, our president acknowledged when they asked him, Mr. President, are you in control of all your forces? because I had asked Riek Machar, and Riek Machar acknowledged that he was in control of all his forces. The president said, yes, I am in control of all my forces. That means even the Matianganyor that was killing people in Juba was in control of the president. The president acknowledged it before the whole world that he was in control of all of those forces. We have a president under which an ethnic genocide has happened, but he's never come out to say, to acknowledge that this has happened. How are we going to attain a form of reconciliation if our president has not come out to say this has happened? Instead, he says in 1991, Riek Machar had done something. I, I'm a South Sudanese. I wasn't born in 1991. I was born during the presidency of Salva Kiir Mayardit. How do you want me to feel, or how do you expect me to take your justification for the massacre of my father in 2013 to an incident that happened in 1991 when I wasn't born? So that cycle of retribution, in which even our government is taking a side in it, is wrong, and is what is leading us to the present situation in which we are now. All we're asking for is let the government be impartial. All the South Sudanese, including Nuer people, are part of South Sudanese. We are under the control, the security of the government of South Sudan. If in 2013 the government had only fought Riek Machar as an individual and did not go to kill civilians, perhaps today we will not be having the ethnic divide that we have today. But the mistake of you want to pay Riek Machar's sins of 1991 to kill Nuer in 2013 and 2016, and you're doing the same in 2025, is the reason why we are in this present situation. Our government does not know that he's the president for all South Sudanese and not the dignity alone. That's the biggest we have. So no, our problems have not just begun today. I think that our problems exist because our president, one, is compromised. He doesn't look at himself. He doesn't see how his government belongs to all the South Sudanese. In the same interview, he said, the Nuer people have been politicized by Riek Machar to go to the UNIMIS and they don't want to come out. That's what he said. He also said that Riek Machar is the one that is mobilizing Nuer people, that this war that is happening in South Sudan is between Dinkas and Nuer. Okay, if he's the president, you know that Riek Machar, that is not the president, that is not in charge of the government of the country, seems to be carrying out a form of mobilization along ethnic lines. What would be your best response? Is your best response to kill the Nuer people because they are being brainwashed and manipulated by Riek Machar, or would you employ a different approach? Would you employ a more impartial and a more linear approach? Why don't you talk to the Nuer community? Why don't you show them that you are not you are not what Riek Machar projects you to be? If he is claiming that Riek Machar is the one ethnizing us, he's the one dividing us and manipulating us, what has he done as a president to talk to his citizens? Why doesn't he bring the people of Nuer along his side? Why is he treating us like we have a different government besides the government that is in control of South Sudan as a whole? He's making the same mistakes in 2025. 10 years later, if you've seen, even within Nuer community, a lot of people, when 2013 happened, were backing up Riek Machar. But all of us withdrew when we saw certain weaknesses in Riek Machar's forms of governance. I don't endorse any form of, I don't support governance and political parties to be divided along ethnic lines in South Sudan. But because this is what is happening, that's why I'm speaking in the same lens. So
Okay.
SPLM-IO, which they believed was to be a representative of the Nuer people as a whole. In 2013, a few years later, there were a lot of fragmentation within SPLM-IO. A lot of people defected back to the government. So if that happened, you realize that this man is even losing popularity among his stronghold. Why are you repeating the same mistakes in 2025? Why are you killing civilians in 2020? You have Riek Machar under house arrest. You are having SPLM-IO officials under house arrest. So what is killing Nuer civilians? Why are we still killing Nuer civilians? If Riek Machar was behind the Nasser incident, you can use the legal forms or the necessary procedures within the governance to bring him to books. Why are we still in killing civilians? So that is a mistake that he did in 2013. He's still doing in 2025, which is why I don't believe that as a South Sudanese, Salva Kiir sees all of us as equal citizens. I don't believe that Makwelwe speaks for the whole of South Sudan when he comes and do his press statements. You can see that all of them are compromised, ethnicized, and evil-minded. Even in the language by which they speak, they don't speak to win the hearts of South Sudanese. They speak to highlight how they have favoritism towards certain ethnic groups and have deep hatred towards other ethnic groups simply because Riek Machar is loved by his community.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Luca. Luca, before you go, I know maybe you have more time to stay here. Let me add you this question. So, what is the point for the regime? They have a strong hatred toward Dr. Riek Machar, while in fact it is working to protect the system. It doesn't want system to be removed by force. At the same time, the very people who are supporting Salva Kiir himself, they have hatred toward Dr. Riek Machar. And Riek Machar has not even working to remove them from power. He's begging them for peacefully solution in our country. Let's have a round table so that we can sort thing out, so that we can go back to the reality, structure, system. Forgiveness must be the only way to go. Why they are having a lot of hatred toward Dr. Riek, and Dr. Riek is not even having hatred toward them. It's making them always about peace deal.
I will tell you why. I will tell you why. First of all, again, I want to throw a very big disclaimer. I don't say this because I am a big I am allied to SPLMIO or because I have any political affiliations to SPLMIO. No. The present situation in our government as we speak now as South Sudan today, we have zero health, zero investments in health form of infrastructure, zero investments on education, zero investments on security, zero investments on financial macroeconomics in South Sudan as a whole. Macroeconomic governance is at zero. Now, we have a country in which we have a government in place that has been in power for years but has not been delivering services to the people of South Sudan. That is one weakness that the government of South Sudan is having. It's not popular. The government of South Sudan is not loved by the South Sudanese community. It's only imposing itself. I believe that if there is any section of South Sudanese that is in favor or in support of the government of South Sudan right now, even within the president's backyard, the Dinka ethnic group, it's a few minority, not all of them. Secondly, Dr. Riek Machar is, as we speak now, a lot of people believe that what happened in Nasir was because Riek Machar instigated any form of fighting, instigated the White Army. Riek Machar did not instigate any form of fighting or White Army with the government of Salva Kiir. If Riek Machar was intended on overthrowing the government of Salva Kiir via using powerful means, would he rely on the White Army, an untrained group of youths, to do it for him when he had all the arms, when he had generals in his backyard initially, like people like Peter Gadet Yaka, who had the power, who had the military experience to overthrow the government of Salva Kiir? If Riek Machar was bent on overthrowing the governments of Salva Kiir by forceful means, he would have done it without coming to Juba without any form of forces and army. Riek Machar wants peace in South Sudan. He wants this government of South Sudan to unify the forces, take the country back to stability, let's go to independence. But the government of Salva Kiir, because it is aware that it has not, the time that it had in power, it did not give back to the citizens of South Sudan. It has failed to create an atmosphere for the people of South Sudan to go towards this independence. That is one reason why Riek Machar is a threat to these individuals. Secondly, tribalism. Our leaders, I don't think all of them, including the president, I don't think all of them are free from the cancer of tribalism, are free from the cancer of competition along ethnic lines. I think that all of them are compromised. They do not have a national identity. They are not. They don't have allegiance to South Sudan as an as a nation, their allegiance is to their ethnic group. They look at themselves as, why would we have Gen Council of Elders in place? Why would we have a section of it of ethnic leaders advising our president in place if our leaders had the intention or the had the love to lead South Sudanese collectively? Why? Why didn't we have South Sudan Council of Elders advising our president? So another reason why they hate Riek Machar is because they look at Riek Machar as a Nuer person and they identify as a Dinka as Dinka people along those ethnic lines. They hate Riek Machar for that. Secondly, he's more educated than they are. Riek Machar's political ideas, Riek Machar's economic ideas and intentions to transform this nation have they are a threat to their failures. Because if they give him the chance to prove himself to the South Sudanese, he's going to do way than they have done, which is going to be a shame to them. The corruption that they have brought in this country, the nepotism that they introduced into this country, this ethnic division, this ethnic massacre of civilians that they have instigated over the years, they know that if Riek Machar comes to power or any other South Sudanese leader comes to power, those are going to stop, and they don't want to do that. That is why you see they would rather project the white army as an ethnic militia that wants to overthrow their government, that wants to overthrow the government of Salva Kiir simply because it's headed by a Dinka. But that's not true. The white army does not want. The white army did not travel all the way from Nasser to Juba to overthrow the government of Salva Kiir. Instead, the government of Salva Kiir sent tribal forces to want to disarm the white army. That's why there was fighting in Nasser, not because the people of Nasser or the white army wanted to fight the government of Salva Kiir. You're having Nasser as we speak now. There is no child, no woman, no elderly person is in their ancestral land. They have displaced all of them to Ethiopia. We have a whole Minister of Information coming out to the media and saying the Nuer of Ethiopia should go back to Ethiopia. Who is Michael Makweldes to say that the Nuer are from Ethiopia? Who is he to claim that the Nuer people of Nasser come from Ethiopia? Does South Sudan belong to him or his family or his ethnic groups? The
Yeah.
people of South Sudan were scattered along East African region for years, for centuries, because of the Sudanese civil war that extended for several years. And that is why a section of
Okay,
them
look,
to
for sure. Let me. I have some few questions to ask you. Um, what do you think? So, Salva Kiir now using Uganda troops to bombard the Nuer area. This is a kind of the fear, so that they can make a fear in Nuer, so that Nuer will give up to to fight against the regime. And this is the style being used in Uganda by President Yoweri Museveni on a certain tribe in Uganda. That's why he's still in power, because he used that style in Uganda. He mute his friend, like scared them. He killed a lot of those politicians from different ethnic communities, and that's why he's working hard for his son to be the next president after exit from the presidency. So, do you think this kind of style will be a workable system on Dianca to mute us in South Sudan, not to say anything about politics?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. For all intents and purposes, I would like to clarify that uh, indeed, what is happening in South Sudan now is a replication of what Uganda is of what Salva Kiir is doing in Uganda. I've studied in Uganda for over 10 years. I know that currently our vice president is in prison simply because Museveni wants him to be the same way he's doing to Dr. Kiza Besigye. But the problem is this: the Nuer people are not like Ugandans. The Nuer people contributed towards the independence of this nation. We are not like Ugandans. We're not like Bagandas. We're not going to be like the West Nileans, like the West Nile people that Ugandan has the Ugandan government has marginalized and silenced for generations and years. So Salva Kiir is doing a huge mistake to think what is happening in Uganda is going to happen in South Sudan. Because first of all, the Nuer people, we have it is in our DNA, it is a part of our culture. We don't like any form of marginalization. Even if once Nuer person remains in South Sudan and is being marginalized, he would rather be killed than to be silenced by the government of Salva Kiir entirely, like the way they do currently. So why is Salva Kiir making that mistake of bringing the UPDF to silence and kill the Nuer people? I will tell you why. People talk about divide and rule policy, divide and rule, but the divide and rule as we speak now is exactly what President Salva Kiir has executed as duly implemented in South Sudan among us, the Nuer community, as a society. Because we have our sons, we have people that contributed towards the liberation of this country that are sitting in Juba, and the government is killing civilians, women and children, even bombing hospitals, and they are keeping quiet. That is the peak of what is called divide and rule. Because Salva Kiir uses the government's resources, uses positions. He's the only person that has the mandate to appoint and remove people from power. What form of government? Only an individual. Even in Uganda, at least Ugandans can vote their MPs. In South Sudan, it is the president. He wakes up today, he elects all form of positions in the governance. That is why the divide and rule is in existence. The reason he's doing it, he wants to bring UPDF to kill civilians and mainly young people. I want you to quote me well. The people that are dying in along the Nuer lines right now, the white army that the government of Salva Kiir is killing. These are the young people. The young people whom some of them were not in existence in 1991. So when you make reference to 1991 to me, who wasn't born in 1991, I don't understand what you're talking about. It is us that are pained by what is happening because we've only witnessed the death that our government has done on us in 2013. If you make reference to 1991, you would rather kill me than to tell me you're killing me because somebody had killed you in 1991. So the people it is killing, government wants to kill the Nuer young people. It is exactly what it is doing now. It wants to kill them so that they are the ones that are able to take up arms to fight the government of South Sudan. And if it achieves that, I don't think the Equatorians are ready to take up arms to fight the government of South Sudan, and neither are the Dinkas. So it's only us that should do it. And it is doing that so that by the time it finishes 50% of them, the 50% that is going to remain in Bantu is not a huge force that can overthrow the government of Salva Kiir. It will not be. That is exactly why Salva Kiir is bringing the UPDF to kill Nuer youths together.
Okay, that's a good one. Thank you. So the other one, this war is there's so many complex on this war. That's a lot of confusion. We have people, the newer community members from our community. They work under Salva Kiir. They are few governors, county commissioner, member of parliament in both national level and state level, even county level. They just sit back and doing nothing. So what do you think about their position on this war? And then none of them is not visiting. They are not coming to Pangak or Nasser or Wolang or Longshuk or Akobo or even Gwit County. So and they consider themselves to be a government worker. And why they just sit idle, seeing their community being bombarded, people are suffering, being killed, the people they represent. Why none of them is not coming visiting the area? I think you got me. Yeah.
I will tell you why. Yes, I got you. Yeah, thank you. Um, Again, in the beginning of this live session, I say there is a tendency in which we are not seeing the urgency of what is happening. People think that the government of South Sudan should first kill 1,000 Nuer people for them to wake up and realize that the government of Salva Kiir is committing genocide. One factor, one reason why the Nuer that are allied, that are working with the government of Salva Kiir along all government positions, from ministers, from all of them, still have the delusion that we have a government in place that is that considers all South Sudanese as all of them do not realize that there is the government that is in place right now does not consider all of its citizens as it doesn't have regard for all its citizens, because they see in the news that, oh, 10 people died, maybe 20 people died. They think casualties of war. It happens. People die in war. That's what they look at it to be. They reduce this tragedy to just being an incident or two incidences. And by the time it becomes prominent, it might already be too late for them to wake up. So I will tell you why they think, why they are not bothered. All of their family members, all of them, all of their family members do not live in those places that are being affected by the war right now. One factor. Secondly, we have a government that only rewards allegiance, loyalty, and it doesn't matter whether the government of South Sudan respects human rights or not, but as long as it gives you position, it gives you access to money, you keep quiet. So all of them have this disease where they don't work for the interests of this community, they work for their own selfish interests. That is why you see they witness, they see that the government is doing wrong, but none of them comes out to condemn the government, because they are driven by their interests, selfish interests, which is monetary and wealth. Because if somebody speaks out tomorrow, they remove you from the position. And when they remove you from the position, you're not sure when you get back into the government. The government of South Sudan is not one where in which when you join the government, you have a long career. No, your career ends when the president says you're out of the government. And the moment you do something as much as condemning the government, your fate is very unknown and undefined in South, and nobody wants to take a bet of that, because to them, their well-being and of their children that they have taken abroad is more urgent, more important than the death of some Nuer people somewhere. What we do now, to them, it doesn't sound like a genuine concern in their ears, simply because they don't have relatives that are dying and they don't have any vested interests on the death of civilians across the country.
Okay. Okay. Look, this is the nation, South Sudan. Even though we had war, there will be a time this war will remain as history, and the system will be changed no matter what, because people power very important. This system must be changed one day, for sure, for the best benefit for all South Sudanese, regardless of what. So it seemed to be this war. It become a very specific area between we the Nuer and the Jiang community. You can date back to during the war, from the formation of SPLM, SPLA in Gambela, Ethiopia. The war between Nyanya 2 and the SPLM, it become a Nuer versus Dinka, or the Jiang community. So now, under Salva Kiir, it seemed to be the pure democracy structure in the country. The JC dominant the political structure in South Sudan. They are the one who advising Salva Kiir for the best benefit of the young interests in South Sudan structure. So it seemed to be the young, if I can assume, the high percentage of young community, they fear democracy. They like the system under Salva Kiir. That's why most of them, they support it. They like that. So what do you think, why the young fear democracy? Because democracy, it means, like we knew it, we have to elect the president. And also we have to structure democracy style in our country, power distribution between federal and state. The state must have their own constitution. A governor in that state must be elected by the people of that state. The same thing to the member of parliament in both federal level and state level. People must elect member of parliament to the parliament. Okay? And then Why is that the 90% of young community they support this kind of style that is destroying the country? Why they fear democracy? People must elect the governor. People must elect the member of parliament. People must elect the president because, like I knew it, we never conduct any form of election in South Sudan. We never elect no president, no governor, no member of parliament, no county commission, nobody. In electable system, we never elect no one in South Sudan. Everything through presidential decree, every week, every month, every time. Presidential decree. All right, my brother, probably you are having a network issue. Luca, welcome back. I hope you are there now watching me. So Luca is a Nuer also, you know, the alternate Nuer, and then he like to say something in English. So I think it's okay. Welcome back, Luca. I know you will be going to work soon. Let me bring you back. Your device is not connected, so make sure. All right, now it's okay. Okay, welcome back. So
Okay, can you hear me?
why that the it seemed to be the
Yes,
young they
I
peer
had your
democracy.
question.
Yeah, the young peer democracy. They liked dictatorship system. That's why they try to make a phobia, no, for us to peer them so that we can give up, fight. That's why they brought Uganda, so that they want the system of Uganda to rule South Sudan, so that one dictator will lead forever. And the other thing is that now the Dinka believe that they have destroyed the Nuer Central Power, the White Army, and so that they are working to install a military in Nuer area. And after that, Salva Kiir will retire. Maybe Bull Mill or other young will be known as the president of the country. And that is this is in their mind. They believe that 100% Salva Kiir will be replaced by young, not by a non-Dinka. Is that a system that will work in South Sudan? Do you think is that the system that they want in South Sudan? What do you think about that? So they want to destroy the White Army, therefore they will declare the new leadership. Maybe Bolman will be the next president to replace Salva Kiir. Maybe this is why they're bombarding the Nuer area in Jikany and Law, in anywhere in across the Nuerland. So anyway, I believe you having a network issue, my brother, Luca Khan. Luca. Well, yene dial tene, sorry. Luca, I think is being okay. Welcome back. So you now, I can hear you right now. So Luca, chicken network issue, my friend. I don't know if you can hear me.
Thank you. Can you hear? Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Okay, and go ahead. Yeah. Can you exit a little bit and come back? I don't
Go
know.
along. So
Okay, I think it seems to be it's okay. I think you're okay right now. Can you hear me?
okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you
All
hear
right,
me?
go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I think we have to I think also understand the parameters why the government of Salva Kiir will not want a form of democracy for the people of South Sudan. There has been zero public service. I think the only form of public service in place right now for the government of Salva Kiir is distribution of wealth to its officials. We have civil servants, civil servants that have gone for close to 13 months without salaries. If we have a government that does not give public service their salaries, and it doesn't provide any form of social services to the citizens of South Sudan, why would they want people of South Sudan to have a say, to decide who should govern them, who should lead them? They would never allow that to happen, because if they allow that to happen, to happen, that would mean the end of their governance, the end of their dictatorship, the end of their tyranny, and South Sudanese are obviously going to bring new faces to the government. That is one reason why they don't want that to happen. Secondly, the White Army among the youths of South Sudan is the only group of youths that has seen that have an experience of fighting the government of South Sudan. The White Army fought the government of South Sudan from 2013 up to from 2014 up to around 2016. So they have an experience of fighting the government of Salva Kiir. That is why they become a prime target. Other youths of South Sudan are quiet. They don't want to take arms against the government, and they don't want to fight the government of South Sudan, even though their rights are being marginalized. I would understand why they're doing that, because none of them lost a relative, none of them is being killed by the government. So if to them, if the government does not kill them, and the government, if they don't care whether it doesn't provide health services or education or water to the citizens, that's none of their business. The Nile is less than 10 kilometers from the heart of Juba itself. Why are our citizens still being supplied? Why are they still lacking access to clean drinking water within the capital of the nation? Yet we have a sitting president. Yet we've been having custom taxes and revenues from oil wealth along all these years since 2005, since the southern part of Sudan as a whole started to run as an independent state on its own. So there is no public service in place among civil servants or to the citizens of South Sudan in the government of Salva Kiir. That is one reason why they would not want any reforms, whether being it democratic reforms, whether being it any form of opposition. They don't want to endorse it. They don't want to allow that to happen. They would rather marginalize individuals that want to speak up for the ills that they do to the communities, to the nation. But for how long shall this continue? For how long are South Sudanese going to watch leaders will continue to damage the future of this nation? The young people who 11, 12, 15, 18 years old, the ones who took arms in around the 1970s of Anyanya 1, Anyanya 2, including the SPLA. The Red Army, they were a group of young boys that were 10 years old. They participated in the liberation of the nation that we have today. But presently we have a government that is doing zero public service, but we have 30-year-olds that are sitting in Juba idly doing nothing. They're not in school, they're not employed, they're not demanding for their rights for good governance in South Sudan. All of them now have been turned to be beggars. You have to sing, you have to first come to social media and praise an individual for you to be appointed to a position. You have to be an uncle of somebody who works in a certain ministry for you to get some ministry subsidized form of leadership in South Sudan. That is what we've been subjected to, that we've been that the nation has been subjected to, and it is taking a toll on us. South Sudanese now, most of them have forgotten their rights. A lot of us have forgotten our rights to employment, our rights to good governance, our rights to public service. Nobody demands for it. Nobody is asking for accountability in the government anymore. So if Riek Machar is to have the opportunity, he would bring all of this in place. Or he might not bring them in place, but definitely he might want to bring all of this in place. And if he does that, it's going to be a big weakness and a shame that the government of Salva Kiir's legacy is too huge of a cost for them to carry on their heads. That is why they would rather not give you voice. They would rather not allow you to speak up on what is happening in the country, and then make you believe that there is an illusionary peace that is in existence when there is no peace across any region, any part in the country at the moment.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think, let me know also for your time later on. I hope maybe you are having more time on this show. Thank you, Luca. And in other area, uh, in other area. So I think I had your question. I don't know if you responded. So why is that? It seems to be the young community they fear democracy. They like the style of Uganda to be a system of South Sudan. Why is that? Why they? What do you think? Why they fear democracy in South Sudan? Yeah, I know your network is not strong enough. It will take a few seconds to hear
Can you hear
my
me?
answer, my question. Go ahead if your network is okay. What do you think? What do you think? Why the young pure democracy? Why they pure democracy? Why they like the system of Uganda to be a system of South Sudan? And during the fight, during the war in the north, we demand for democracy to transform South Sudan at the time, so that it has to be a system of democracy. Now people just say democracy in word. In reality, there is no democracy in South Sudan, and they claim to be supporting a democracy system in South Sudan. When in fact, it's nothing to be seen there. Everything to appointment. So, just simple question: why do you think the young community they fear democracy in South Sudan? I believe our brother having an internet issue. Let's see. Let's go back. Tame iyo bne a read ko tong na biyo. But then anwar but sometimes la the feel comfortable ke English language is okay. Men luin kon jok ka tong na iyo go lu jok iyo be allow ko be broad express ke English language. Be feel comfortable about it. Ko can young people in the kind of language in English, not a problem. So brother run pointed explain English, key language, and could feel good about it. Well, yene idea latini. Anyway, welcome back again. Katong nap. Men ba kaje kechu and tiane ken dia lat kon social media. Shit ke men lero dere fan ka kol fan ka cha ebe bombardment. Yok make renali bugemen tama bugaji fan ka. So today I'll turn for the war. Still a breaking news. Regime and Conti yin the con regime and take a major can take a major take a not they still fear the Nuer whiteout. Nuer community. We have been the Uganda helicopter or flame it can back on cool book at ku you can quality come arco your revenue. Kill your revenue. You can call a dark Uganda, Canada lead on the top. When ku will attack a jacob misham, who can public fund big go your third guardian of big public fund in the South Sudan. National budget ka South Sudan be hoyo 100%. Tada diyan di jigo kije ka South Sudan. Tila company ni tila na tin no production, no apartment, no road and bridge, no commercial airline, no hospital, nothing there. Tin di na wala tin yo tila do emka. The national income ka South Sudan owe your revenue. Can you owe your revenue can you da ka Uganda? Can ko kwakal gang ka power Uganda ko paintin ko rodin ka bomdien dwal ka bomdien ko na bomdien a week bago bo through. So that they have to bring Uganda the pike ka kel bago lok kor. Okay? So yente ka power ka jam. So question the demand would ne kondi ang ngai. 100% the high percent can combine the fear democracy. Who may not in democracy? May you con again Arab. Look on injustice. Any democratic structure because Sudan take on a go. That's why you tell court. Would we meet our right medan you know Sudan ke democracy. Tell me now on court. Could they take the country leader? Welcome back again. So I know take a network issue. I hope you question chigaling. You can deal. She wrote the mute you or the take a mute. I did unmute. Yes, so we'll go right now. So my question is very simple. Why the Jain community fear democracy in South Sudan? I cannot hear you. Your no voice. Yeah, I think you got to fix your mic. Nope.
Can you hear me
Not.
now?
Oh yes, yes. Now Jaguar
Can
right
you?
now. Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Loud and clear.
Yes, but it speak up a little bit. It speak up a little bit.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Why the Jiang community is afraid of democracy?
Yeah.
I think that yes. I think that one reason why we can assume that the Jiang community is afraid of democracy is that we've seen the Jiang community is the first community that has attained presidency ahead of other 64 ethnic communities in South Sudan. So, because of that, what has their presidency shown to the people of South Sudanese? What has their presidency actually given us? They have nothing to show for the presidency that has been in their backyard for all these years. What we have in place is corruption. What we have in place is a massacre of other ethnic communities, marginalization and massacre of other ethnic communities. It is very shameful for you to bring forces, external forces from another country to come and kill your own citizens. That is a shame that is going to remain on the head of Salva Kiir's government as a whole, and it is going to taint the ethnic community that is from which the presidency comes from for years to come, because that is going to be written down in history of South Sudan. Giving them democracy, giving South Sudanese democracy would mean South Sudanese have a voice to elect, to bring into power people that we want to come to power. It means that the ability for people to ascend into power is going to be decided by the majority. Why would they want that to happen when clearly they see that their presidency was not famous? It doesn't have any results to show for it. 20 years in power and you have nothing to show for it. Why would you want to give democracy to people? So I definitely believe that is one main factor why they would rather support Salva Kiir's tyranny, Salva Kiir's dictatorship on the people of South Sudan. Because should there be elections, should there be democracy, it would be entirely difficult for a Dinka person that to come to power again in South Sudan. Again, not it might happen, but not now. It would take a few years to come. And if another Dinka person is obviously going to come to power, I believe it's not going to be one that is associated with the killing of the Nuer people by the government by the regime of Salva Kiir. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. So thank you so much. So I know I have more time to stay here. If you have a few minutes to stay.
My time is done.
Okay, thank you very much for your coming. Jelona Luca, thank you very much. And I will see you next time. If I will not be working on Saturday next week, I will go live and I will make a show. And I will post it before the Saturday. And I will let you know. Thank you very much for your coming today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Kwar.
Yep.
Thank you. And thank you for hosting this as well.
All right.
Yes,
Thank you.
for that.
All
Yes,
right.
thank you, sir.
Thank you. So chagwa long tamme chi dama na ni luka ke gwa to ka chitega dong e bize te gwa bo tin te mo lo lel ko ru wonga ke e wala Sunday go kon you know the America kids of America as well. Sunday go kon chang ka ngwan ka pai day 2025 almost go kon the middle of the year. She year to kon go tungel. An no raja ke entiani shi breaking news ke ngai kon ba pen milinga kor ka pan gak e war mat tin siang ki me jet fo kana ter ke wolong chu ke ka ko bo shaka bombat regime we are at war kon to kon ko telum chalu ne ti ga mi pai to telum pai to kon ko chi jan area am ko to gutino because but the thing go that you want to good chelonate. So my brother is here. Okay, look, kimu jalunjo. Okay, maybe he do try to name a core medicine. Tini kon kor regime ko South Sudan men bi longar chi kamaliga chi assumption. We men bi change kor te tin metin na jen ko tun ko jen tubde ban de tin until chi gwad ben ko regime badil jo. Go South Sudan chang 100%. Bagwa ke new leadership. Che bagwa ke current regime. Enne ramal let ka current regime chi Salva Kiir ko. Kan ideal tini chi wo yende bagwa ka kan dial kan the worst people in here go which structure get their own benefit. Key benefit for the people of South Sudan. Ko wuji me ne ide je nak ko gor mon me yit kon gara. Gor ne democracy ideology. Democracy is structure ka South Sudan ne liu na go je. Cha teru ba do je ka te ga you to yung wan jin ko adu. Ter no be kon te government first. Bana government bana je. Ban te country to kon te South Sudan independent. But we don't have a government. What do you mean by government? Government a constitution. We don't have it in anywhere in South Sudan. Telecom constitution. Because South Sudan constitution is based on democracy. Okay? Distribution of power for government. Power by distribute, but take a federal power, but take a state power. No. Micha bomda. Tilambara dictate. That the federal level, but state level, only if something beyond state authority. Which is state take a problem, it did with the federal government being board. Again, a good con South Sudan go to con book on 64, do 64. Chak on the right anti-democracy. Shadell, that's why Salva Kiir with the so-called presidential degree a dictatorship. Shagwa. Shallet. We don't need it. Cham no. Ku cha yo itine ideal ka South Sudan chuna refugee almost 100% chuna refugee. Yuna ne cha mo na ko rodi. E wo tele system central system which is structure tele constitution. Mi ba war mi chi yo kwal ba yi yen. Mi ti ga term limit tele je. South Sudan che fit ku de right case so-called presidential degree shall. The most system of democracy. We don't need that. Badil wo. Ke democracy jo ben bang kamal ben ko bana de lu bana chui bana displaced. A process toward democracy demand. It takes time ko chiru go nang ye too slow. Ko tum bang pe. Ba nang mi ja do de bang pe bana ro jo ba nyonga. Democracy take a slow movement. Jelle too slow. Che jel te high speed. Ko tum bang pe. Yen bu yema transform. So mete continue kor ke breaking news mete tinishia. Just being you to take other kind of babu rule. Just being you to take a major war within one another. To con the middle of the war. When good con other community who before relica other community shenego can't relica. Cocoon me you none young there relica. Ya coat ready. Janagur. Kurba teridi janagur. Kur tarijek sha. But to con social media lat content lat con a regime. Cure and a band of quarter. Charian could be a young at the pin, take a young pin, a young public. But Gunton Yaga let to con Jacon Kakuta con a year banacala. Tinton butter core con to let con a private man, chuck of cheer public. We are the war. To continue war, coordinate in the media of Guaber before Facebook can create. Genteneco. So much Facebook, don't lie, link to my space. Medan chale my space. Before my space, didn't a long time. Milatiga Noor International Forum. Before that kind of create, didn't a long time. Why not go for Meda? According to now, didn't a long time. She me find a talk, didn't a long time. Before South Sudan independent. Before you can now countries can find. We don't like the system as SPLM. Need a long time. SPLM a disaster to South Sudan. A criminal organization. A tribalist organization. She fit to govern the country. That's why in South Sudan, the government structure because of SPLM. SPLM kora jeka large jeka ku SPLM kora meaningless. Kwa kreni ka tet ko be exist. Nay de ku create a problem. That's why SPLM a problem. Minute ku create a problem, SPLM a problem. SPLM a problem is a long time during the war. A curse movement. Micha curse and it anak again for no reason. Civilian over target. Again the first major war SPLM make quit been existed. 1984, in the first initial war, Kolungshu County, Cuba civilian Bagana, SPLM, 1984. SPLM a case movement. South Sudan is the began because Jainial, SPLM bar move to South Sudan, Chabia, Shankar, the lineage, Chabia major political party of South Sudan. But they'll delete or by just, but you know, can't working. Bijika Bigo Quack, Chagor. Kojan Chashian in South Sudan. Chi movement go tell a peace. And then I'm sure SPLM Latin Laguna ideology or SPLM Bonang Chi money Ramo. Bokwali you. Kulu Tenga South Sudan to fight to South Sudan independent. Tinik a formation of SPLM Kitan. Go by looting by loot Canadian Kula thief and Jekan a long time take experience out loot money. Eating one material it's all about looting. A refugee camp. Ration card, men chal men banaka kelis. Canadian secretary de la Lina Chola can cure the Alchuki can the minister return. Sure, a major regan the bush. Chima by 12 after South Sudan independent. A major look. She can experience during the war. The same thing as killing people, a can experience during the war. Solution to South Sudan problem. The go by regime by remove. Kone dial go to court. Be yaramat. Keep a cormat. Third go on ne conti a neck the amu boat any te a nega 2013 genocide. And then right now Jakon Nyok Moike genocide in Uganda Kane regime. Name a court. Tell a kept chuang until the regime to Jien. Bane mess about South Sudan. No can't go you court. Ramdal took January, Jawai Ram Jaju. No, you don't even know what you're doing. Shimela Daman and look Amadan. She contract to Uganda. She contract Yuka King, con South Sudan, con different. No, she got to Uganda. No, she get Kenyan. No, take attitude. No community look at anti-democracy. Anything material let get democracy, you know, go. Whether you know, ballot, but no regard, you shall go. No tell Lloyd to anything, ballet democracy. And nation, take a gene, that will learn. Kim wa good will go. Double got Kija. But I'm muy good war. Yen Chiang Chiang and Nuan culture, new Natham Namika duel. Be never wake, but don't win with deed, but they'll to room down one. Let it in just 3 kelp the meat case. A man in yet. A man wounded. Democracy a belay canoe. Him wa go to Western democracy. We can call Africa. And oh, Yakon regime, Chime Yakon regime 2013, Yakon genocide. People call Uganda get Uganda ku yo Chakok, you Oyolka, con, but to con Oyolan, Conwary, or Conek Oyolan. Welcome Uganda Bakunakuramanak. Tell about. Money overcome Corman no matter what. Tell them all about. Tell the Jagloy to Rup Chago. Name a war real. So the quick and more, I believe Take Jal me Jal Bafi. Jal BL Bafi. Long time. Wood Michigan.
Long time. Long time.
Martin,
yeah,
Martin, where did you see more down?
Ah?
Where did you see more down?
No, what I hear man down to take on that cake and check it to go. Yeah.
Jal BL Bafi, Jaguar Coach, but Marty, what did Michigan?
And what is Michigan?
Okay, thank you, Coach Ben. So, till that call the topic done, I can't Malalong. Topic done. ken yen we kon ka South Sudan antamme ko jindul fan ga ajen dorun cha bam pan ka kuna kwa bam mentam the whole pan ga cha bam cha bam today hopefully will continue ajen ko ju ka South Sudan when ka to intina yi pan ya ko di hira na ko de chi mo dong ni telo wa ma te ge peace South Sudan achen na to duel kel yi da kora telo wa ma te ge peace achen na one second within that to duel nyi ko rodien ka quick di we don't have a government ka South Sudan who exists era ran ruaya da kora biro gangorodu mu wi pur betene de wait pin ko by the attack there is no government ka South Sudan men te ku juba e dung jike tin chue tin nagana tin kwal ga yo terin kornye de tiane ka te ka wundi ko rudin dal ka womanizer she fit to govern the country ke jigiel ke lo te go che benen bi gwad bil matin jal bil bay pe ani welcome back
Ataloi long ataloi chela ataloi long gan mar to con le rodian ke South Sudan till ataloi me jekatin especially chanware chaga target along ni ki con nen con dialo nware chaga target 100% cha delar con ne to kian ki con nen con dialo wan wale to 2025 ane con dial chaga target ke nazir ulang lobushuk all of it ko kan SSPDF min da na jalka la kira ma yari ko banwar ba displace 100% a che tu ke kan nuar ke displace kan dial kan gan man kon a shui ka dor and then the next step lo nuar kan ga war ka charo to tame and the final step is unity state and no gan ma ren ta lo jirang tinga invite to your lo your life show ta lo mi di long kwar ila ta lo mình đã nói để thì cái niệm khăn cái niệm cái con nó gọi là bao lạt bây thì cái đúng rồi niệm là mà bữa nào đúng con nuôi kim cái đoàn nuôi khăn cái phật cái khor so mà bắt cái pin tham để làm mà gọi long mà bắt cái pin cái khor mà gọi cái pin cái này thôi để làm mà gọi là khi mà bữa cái nào cái niệm là bắt con này đi mà dễ long mà bữa cái gạt cái niệm là cái nào cái mình cái nào cái này con dial cái niệm là bắt con này đi quar gai bol na ma bu ko na leledi
gwa long the theme gwa jal bil bapin bonne re ne la kor me yit wona jalava ci ko na lar bana leledi la ko lar talimat ken jen wala te ter kor una kor bana won una otin yo biari chod je do yo and then yo bia mol bia wo until badwe be bog bana nak banak a part of the war ko jen korean yal tel ko mo go ron po ti kan long daga so tel wo bana ti war bana yi ke we la ter ko je okay
good ground okay
ko me yi me be garen yal den bana ngule bana yi ke ko che ga dal ke pin we can chicken bo long then bi kan ben Uganda ko reta nang na ko reta Uganda tel South Sudan tel renda ngi je tel renda
yeah
reta bo na ke reta Uganda South Sudan tel renda el ko tel dial kan Uganda gan tim ko on kan Uganda ke ya den youth kan national ke bo na ka ngada ka kanata kan Uganda ger ga Uganda South Sudan tel ka pailand ger tel ko reta ko South Sudan je reta renda al me de ko tel ja yo kwal ni point salva ke me president tele presidential jet regional quartier malen tele la junior Uganda la junior Kenya kre Rwanda amene Tanzania amene Ethiopian airline la ja youth tele ri milare kwar ko wi tele yo ko ja kwala ken ta ka bang ni so dungre ndal ko ne no go part of war tele la ga dad ko bene nak banak am ken baken we are the war tel mi chalo di ka be gere nale ke jeni ko nguni tel mala new bana ke resist ko ya ta ko ani welcome
rai mo ga long ko rai mo ga long men dan ai jan men dan gai na ko ram bu ji re ni ram chi dual ko na ma che gwa man na ka ga kre ni al che gwa jo gor ke ne chat ko ko ku na ma tar ko kur ba ngai o ma bona ke ni ala che ma gwa okay che ma gwa gor ko ba ta da ba gwe ne gwa ơn jal bel ba pin che dwal ke ji ju ba che dwal ke ji sal fakiro nga ga ke jen tame ke ti la rap ke nyen ko kon tame ti la rap men nyen ko ngu kula kon ne ti char kon nyen kon kro dia ngu sal fakiro ngu na ga do ngu na nuari o sal fakiro ngu na na o ngu na nuari o ngu
well ane dun right ka ti dun ti ka dun right
dunda ti le ngu na sal fakiro ngu na nuari ngu ko nuari target do why kariya
but ka power be na is care mi na is care na should wal ba should ka leadership de ko trambian la ga yen dari dan na ko nuari je ko ngeje ko min man ga ka South Sudan ko min nuari ko nuari look injustice so okay en be mo ke mi chen ben be yo ku ja be is care min lu yen be na ku yen should wal ka yen gur gu no na should wal mi cha kur gur ku na should wal man na na should wal you give up yen gur mi ken kon give up ba continue ne ko kon mi je kon kap mi je kur kap yong je kon ne in min je kon wal how long na to ni na bana dil ne ko nge je ki no ti ken be scare ka mai go ba kon is scare simple answer go ba kon is scare ba kon to wal ba kon to give up ko je ne ko kon je
oh okay no ara ma ga long kamen dan de la da sal fakir ai betone wide tiram dal ge tiram de roda bar ge sal fakir will not be successful katin dia to la be to la dia lo bi ga lui ke je ken dia en gen de la do so no sal fakir ke de te bom ke tiram de roda bar ge kuide no se roda lut ko nuori cha ke yak te nuor ma yak
en dung darun mi chi kur darun chi lengo ja kwa bom ne pan ne
yeah Charlie can did 3 and then I think they start bombing at 2 a.m. I think today yeah Charlie can dia lai Charlie can dia la ma je long ai
ka no ku je en chi mo do ni system ti kan ku la ka to dan wi je ba ko lo ko bi kana roi ka ko
no chaga belwak man shankal chalar ke ya chalar ke male ya no che ma ga che gen tan dan la tana wi mon ma shaga ni shaga no har target de shaga nyam ko it's not good you need to stop it chalar ke jo yen tin to kon la ke cheng ma dong che de chong ke completely yap ke kur ma ter ke no tila ma den wore pot ke tila ma den wore tu be nuore chake ya ke chake luang so whether salpakir bona ga renyal le chena bog renyal e wun ma nong no rode shi time de ye ben chera ma go rama ba wo ba ke do ma dan go ba wo tin kala
very good ka ko yin ta ti ke lengi ko ne lar je ma let tal ba ki ko ban war ku la ja dwal dong be power wide am be joira and then yom che ngai yo je wa am je kan tal bom ki no tal bom be juratai be bol mel to anon kana no tb in the next president of the country so wala len ke ku mo ka what do you think crowd ku ku malat ko South Sudan ku shi mo do ngi ta dien sal be ki goro be time be bol che nya de mi bol mel be la kwa do you think a kel ko support shi mo do ngi kin no
yeah kwa support kan ko ta lu ken along ai te kon de chitwo ka nasir kan ulang ka kaban da ne cha nasir kan ulang kana ka ba jango kana ka me da ne cha ne no ne jango kana bule me da ne bakrai chi gan ma ne kon la wai da mi cha ro den che jau ka ulang ken nyam and then garaude ju ulang dia cha ro den che jau so cha ka ja ko ne bi ga ben chang sharp the arte connect ke kir ma yari ko bol mel bala ko ke bala successful te rod belong arte kon lat ke che man dong jang kan dial be lui ke so be te tem di te tung wan te bi ga gai ko warap be te tung wan te bi tuo ko warap ke be te tung wan te bi tuo ke leg state ke be te tung wan te bi tuo ko northern bar ka dal te bi ga gai long so kurmo te rod be lut salpa kir be pen
So ka ma ku with image kan en chemo don image kan la karo dia na chika ne ywan na kanwari amene kan karo dian ti kutoria ne alo antama kine ywan chika tika angerman ka do you think chika kan te ke pier ke ko lokan bu leadership je we can dong mel ni kan la kana bale ke ru chi jan dwal ke uru ne chika go leadership je ke ti kan kan nyok ka te ke from John Garang to solve the bala jen solve the bala wada dien the ma chicken abu yo te re na tin do you think chicken right ko na me dur ba ko mo gere they don't think like human
Right, magalong kuara guy bola no machi la do red magalong yeah no yeah dwal ka ko ken en jeno goro ne be shanya de bola mel be jago bela kuara South Sudan ko no ken manangwan wari che jen twanda che jen tan la lat ka wa wi mon jiran ma jin kuara wi mangai ka wi mon ke liu chi cho nya du che de jago ne bela kuara no ma tedwer ku ga no yes right dan chi lat question magalong e che magalong dual ke long ko dung ko ma mo we ke nuari dual ke no ne de nuari de rodian riet ke de galat ke ti jek so en je no chi wude me chala kire wo ke Uganda chi era mo go ba jan wude me chala kire ngwane diale ngar ngar jera me dan nak Dr. John Garang ko jan che yo dial che ka kamo seveni an je no gore be lat ke Dr. Yang ma cha ten so te diale to chi ke to go dual ke yes makilado te magwa ya dual ke anje nen to ko kuro ko dun kore mo cha de kam kon ken completely chikana no go dun kore mo be woga nuari chikana no completely chikana goro be te ga nuar bila sa president ga South Sudan te am no de ke
okay ka gwe du ka gwe country ko we almost cha imite nei wan ka Uganda nei wan ka Kenya nei wan ka Ethiopia nei wan ka Central Africa nei wan ka Sudan amene Egypt amene Rwanda amene Tanzania amene South Africa Burkina Faso ina chopten ba na ten almost they the we get South Sudan chinga refugee that within any country take a refugee take a UNMIS a system like that the country which are right here more down we je be kulu gurdi mu gatin
okay kwar gai bol tila made gwatin men dan go ba largi kel ngani ngai ne to kono chal interest group right
hmm
okay interest group shall ke invisible hand invisible hand interest group kana to chagala nen ke jinyone kana to kono la nyon kana de kan la ba ke bai mu ga dor bai jo ne mi china mele ne ma wi ne ma wele ne bi kon ji mu ga yo so interest group cha jien kan sa bel da cha ga misled kan ma chi kon nen kon dial na kan wore ga re nyal ke cha ga target do ma cha lar ke ji interest group ke ji wi mon te kon te yo dia te billionaires la ba ko South Sudan te ga petroleum ke te ga gold ke te ga te dial te cha kam ko me da ne cha ka wi mon so te dial to interest group good kan won ne be te ga mo ga ma ba je kan ku South Sudan so kwa so on tama right ke kira ma yadi to dial to mo na ka na do ngai ke kira ma yadi do
we
so
right ya we right
yeah gwa long so interest group ka kanai to kone te kone to mo na ka nuari wo cha nuari target do she ma gwa yenne kon la nuari to kon to wi mon min dan de la ko dan ki to ka South Sudan yen gan ma to kon to wi mon ma gor char long ma gor char ka bina rodian mat so ma bok ga kana man ka re ni alo she ma gwa ma bona ga re ni alo she ma gwa okay de ngwana wona ne ken ponjen kan ken jisal fakir mu gor kan kur de kan bena George abaga ne na gan wari wa baka George ke tin na de bok re ni al ma bona ga re ni alo ma na gal kan ma no ma ga ngalongan jal bel ba pe an je na she ma gwa amma ba ta da gwi nan gwa jinna kor gai bol interest group shika nai to go interest group ke evil ke yinyona ke tunuore ke neti kon la nyun ngwa mo ne South Sudan tila malo mo cha nuore cha target do mangai ke Salva Kiir chelel intentionally with a gun nuore ja wala chikena gur ma chi kon nen kon dial cha nuore cha target den tame cha tu ke jigan Nasir cha displaced ulang cha displaced the next move kan yang tama taka ke Nasir ke taka ulang the next move law nuor kan ga war so tama taka raid wala ba law nuor kan ga war ba displaced so by SSPDF kana murle kana armed forces from Uganda ba no kana bushok ba law nuor ba displaced again la second step in time so sharp dia to kon lat ke kirma ya di tiga joy kan dia the next step is unity state so kirchana no tin nuor magore completely man nuor to kon chunkel ke je cannot knock completely so tin nuor man knock at this time so
Very
to
good.
dial to kategur char kategur rai to guro binwore bi ke chonkel kon nuore dial bu kon chonkel bu ko rodan falaka bu kon chonkel bi bu kon kurme bi kon ter kon dial chema guran kel
Right.
tama
Mm.
kel balargi
Mm-hmm.
nuore to kon chonkel ke kirma yadit kan dial taban den guy dr ye guy lol gat ko to name the few ke nuore to kon chonkel ke kirma yadit ba ke yen kan dial ke nuore dial to ba ga ka ba kirma yadit ke be ke yen
Ko kama ka nega mo lok ka nega kor be kala yen mu ka nega.
be ke yen ko ti la kur man te ti le man la ke ken dadu be ke yen ko ke nuori bieling
Okay.
yap be
Ay
ke yen ya
mi yen ka baba gwa ka kon ba ko ti kon ka ko tamalet ka na kon ko jitaran ko why ni ken ko na hurt ko they are supporting some ke 24/7.
mhm
Yeah.
chango fa salpa kir ma ya di support ken ba ken nei ti ku nga ba nei ti nak ga ken ka nak man ken ke ti le ke shi ga rai ke salpa kir kulo de langu man nak ga kun ken man kun ken de mo kun ke ti le maladi dung yone mo ngu gor ke wi mon so nuore shi ke long bat mangaya nuori will resist all these things here salpa kir je ram dan bete gariya so again kwagu in time ko tin dial o bona garinyal or lelungu or take up bushok or SSPDF salpa kir binin ke big lati je naiti kon bete chuom kanuari so ana chi dwalan tame so yeah
Okay, right me go along. So jal biel bapin. Angula go democrat South Sudan solution. We je bien pit jen bi longo bana te pit go an jen tina bana pit chan te pit kam kon dong we chen ki we je en ram chalen solve ki ba jo ko. Angula solution in South Sudan we je right now.
okay ka guida ka kuisa Sudan the solution and then the first option and then de korai ka kuide ka kuisa Sudan tin dial kur thuana tiram lo ko lakin kur thuana de lat ke negotiation min dan de lat kir ma ram te ke chart go ka ram ko ma nong ne dia no nuar ko no all 64 tribes min dan ko gui salpa kir ga ne ke de ga ke ga o ke de ga ke white army so white army and IO they are not enemies of Kir Mayadit. Kir Mayadit ma wun ma ngai ngwa dira rai ke kwari IO to kon tepin ke nuare dial ke ne ji ke nuare dial ma no kwari white IO ke ne kwari white army bi Salpa Kir be rai ke ken dial man dan lo ke ken bala de ken ko ba root causes ba ka address ken dial ma cha root causes cha ka address de jang ke nuar de ke ben gwa kel ko bin ideal wo nyam ko kui mal en no again dom dan kwa gui ge je ko a negotiation ko bo te mal ko cha garden so kula ter je giran ma ti ke mai ke ti ke bom ke gui je wona ne kurmo abie pot en no la gwa kuro lakin ma til jingwa jiran salpa ki ta ka mai dial salpa ki jan e kur so tega mai dial ke tega ti la yu dial ka ke je ko jen ko South Sudan tega bom ke ti diality so manen yen wide mi wona na til ka bom ken ai wo ko ken ai wo ken wide mi til ka bom so salpa ki tega yu dial dira na ko ke yu ke dira mai dial ko ke yu ngani ci ko nen medan ke jango ala gad ngok ke ga moy ga mai ken dial okay so kon nuari til kon mai ke til kon bom ke til kon yu no so min dano kwa gui ke kuimala ke nyam the first option is negotiation is very important but che ngadi wona ne ba no salpa ki che de knock
yeah for sure and I'll take a view there for sure la South Sudan jo gwa ye ke salaman natin so yeah right jo gwa ye la mi ye kre brode ke ti ye kre brode in South Sudan every month every week every days every young road it mean system under current regime shall let South Sudan click is not working ne ideal should see your low opinion we can know that exit again we stay it mean more no that ke mo South Sudan yen mo gero re ko ne ideal den let answer be kan dial ke survive chan ke more survive it mean to the barka South Sudan mu te South Sudan te bagwa mu wa ipel kan ne go ge ko system ba change no matter what change there to again so jall right me go along tige message me di cheer kan wari advice what do you think mun la bio mo ka inter no community what tige advice me di lot
advice dan de lat gan mari shay lat lo in viewers in what kon we video dan kai ti kon demand dan gai bol ti kon lat lo ai ko chang jako ben ka live video ka chay lat lo ai no welcome in dial gan jal bial ba pin le so min dan de lat ka kui ko dan lo de South Sudan min dan de lat re chiang ka United State yen no la IO or wide am to kon to United State or Hapanai or Jongle chora mal dual ko chora dier ko yen chung yen let yen to go ke yen to kon chung go do ma gwa ke yen to kon ter kur ke justice so men dan de la to men dan be no gwa de yen no re chora dual ko yen dia te chung one day one time ken kur reality bia ko pot ken dial so I am very optimistic about that ko ramal lati yek ram nang ga ke kena ga nay dial kena ga nuan dial man kena ga kena na ke bo na gre nyal cheram de te bo mi mon ite de la te me je min dan de lat kon nuori bi kon we won yam ke siam goya min dan de lat ba ye nuori dial wi mon bi kon especially min dan go ba la de nuori to kon te United States one ke long line ke jang ke South Sudan almost 1 million if I'm not wrong almost 1 million in the United States here till a young 1 million ke United States wana me nuori wan ke wana me so goro na ne bi kwori nuori to connect ke America ke Canada ke Australia ke United Kingdom goro na ne de na te ke dol ke kui gad kon racing de na te dol long bina rodien mat bina te dol gwa kel no so de kon do badane de kon gan mani kon kana ne kon chu la waida mi kana ayo de kon gal wagadi no ro rain dan de lat but sora mal dual ke sora dier nga de je wona na salpa ki time de to chera man nong na jen wudamo time de to kala tele dialo bi ke tila mabagwa ka salpa ki mabagwa ka je tele company le ko je na lor bang no wun ma ci dwal ke ye na to ko ken so salpa ki mabo nore ka ye nya lo ka na ga ken kana man ken no biti yeg dial bi ka to ka warap biti yeg dial bi ka to ka northern barka dal man leg state liang ke ken yeto yalarie bete ga magai ke kwar gai bol bete ga magai ke lari to gan mari ka kariye to konde lar kwar gai bol ya
go along ban te commercial ba mo kon mo ge music benar te medleng
Yes, God, Chayes ka Afrika, chayes ka Benkimun, chayes ka Amerika, chayes ka Obama. Chayes ka Afrika, chayes ka Afrika, chayes ka Benkimun, chayes ka Amerika, chayes ka Obama. Kariya yen South Africa iron kadida ya nung jinu bidinuri namo biyene chachang donga manu chapora yen South Africa iron kadida ya nung jinu bidinuri namo biyene chachang donga manu Chayes ka Afrika Chayes ka Afrika Chayes ka Benkimun Chayes ka Amerika Chayes ka Obama Chayes ka Afrika Chayes ka Afrika Chayes ka Benkimun Chayes ka Amerika Chayes ka Obama Garwit gana pangkorale Garwit gana pangkorale Garwit gana pangkorale Isel jang sakyan nurbu Garwit gana pangkorale Garwit gana pangkorale Garwit gana pangkorale Isel jang sakyan nurbu Chayes ka Afrika Chayes ka Afrika Chayes ka Benkimun Chayes ka Amerika Chayes ka Obama Chayes ka Afrika Chayes ka Afrika Chayes ka Benkimun Chayes ka Amerika Chayes ka Obama
وهامي كهولي يا زنسو وهامي كلب يتكفى وهامي بزدش من العسينو وهامي عنقتوني يدفى وهامي شي مدي ملوى 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 شي مدي شي مدي شي مدي شي مدي ملوى شي مدي شي مدي شي مدي ملوى
Chayes ka Afrika Chayes ka Afrika Chayes ka Benkimun Chayes ka Amerika Chayes ka Obama Chayes ka Afrika Chayes ka Afrika Chayes ka Benkimun Chayes ka Amerika Chayes ka Obama
Jago long commercial jina lunjok yene dia la dong be jeton bine go yene kone jal biel bapin wood kel kanwer ke wood pangak garme alajen ngaja tog kimando na tog dian kani chinga ka kel la be ga shuba ke sometime ko go dan ba wo kina be busy ram kel go ma ka United States yene dia la tiane to dong leng ne to ka nas ne nerwo ka kan ko dia dat ro dia rol no ri particularly ko ti tin tamen ji pan gag bu ke ne pan amen wal ka ku ko tina ko ri den nu bu na yeno tina ko regime lo ram gag to de or Alakur, ni yor jiramo, taga live video. Alakur point de, chicken bi yo ne donga bi ba noere konbin ko kor. Kakan ma pere tikai sura no. Noer cha konbin ko kor. Noer kwa konbin ko democracy principle. Mi ladu to ka gwe noeri cha bi kai baga ko jeno gorke. Gor na to. Ban ni ben ko kor ku ne bi noer ja dol. Mare mere. Waida makan ka joy. Ka tin ka South Sudan ter gwa ki wotin. Noer community inta noer community kana joy. Yang te no du guje te ju ba ke lawo ne waida me ba ga ju ke terrorist ke ngane ke criminal organization mane to ne ne within ko ye quran me le ne yuku tin ji yu wa ji yu tin la ja support chang me ke mo re ne ko within ram ko within ne chiang la support ne men je ke e ji ko men na ka chi mani ne to ji na focus ke don't pay attention to those people to lat kan ko community la take sell out we mon ke lew community la de ne che within te la youth ke against their own community anywhere in the world kine de la perfect la take ne de buna le down bana ko le kai kana am rage jeb ko South Sudan we ne dia taram ko on no ye kriyam ne dia malak ko ra ken ga country o we bana ga benedi no ni kyang take against injustice a yang mo wi ko amuru ko le injustice like self ke ne bi to ko ne bi ga ko kon tram ye ga bi to no ri che ba la ko ngai je ba ga na cha ba pel ko no le mi je no ba won no cha go ram bi ga ga je no mo ke president ba bi ga no o yet mai ba yen mai bana nyin cha go no lu mi je kina ka ko wan yen tin power ka mi je ba ju kina go ajen we kine chir kon cha ga je ta kon be kon bin go kur ka South Sudan ma tu kon go non de tu kon ga high percentage de nana to dur whether take a small percentage in original kill regime it doesn't mean that ja kon joy kan kon joy mi cha kon joy ngun no Uganda no can go to like their own power because you can kon resist take a media take a you dia is still no can Uganda can Sudanese rival dam three is still the word about in South Sudan na we kuna shinga ke na me chitare me gor movement me yes ga SPLM pin chala nuari gor ga South Sudan independent whether or not yen the only way and while South Sudan New Sudan Charles Republic of South Sudan again na ideology elak no wal e nuari nak kina bentin men terka walle men kware ma chala ka all the rest a demand for democracy in the country by way like a constitution million diego bana del nak bonor bi lu in big number the nana to dual ka South Sudan ke bana lu ngere ngeo me South Sudan chabur like intimidation chabur like anti democracy ba like democracy ko wije me a way 64 try nay ni chontin ka 64 chi ko nuer ko chi diam kan ga nuer combine can it is for different culture, different languages, different everything different. My cheer con no go down con black. Ray Luin con can a chair con to con vocal what a piece in the culture yellow burmo. Which are con mat under the Republic of South Sudan. It mean by all right the constitution not an idea. Men never know a democracy demand. I'm looking broad about. Cha nuer bi intimidate ki nuer bi jeng South Sudan cha nuer long defeat mi te nuer mi ja ko mi te kel regime moy no re moy no point ne ko mi je kana gat ke ko gara mi cham je ke gara mi cha ko ko you sometime ka wa be ni run cha ka recognize community ke country can come je through democracy process la ko tin gu gan ngungu oh ga ije je la ko Kije la commissioner, Kije go ba governor. Okay, we're going election. Bangabot gaja. Canadian cham ye ka ko la no chana yo the language mo chana mala yo kene ine to ne pankin mo gero re mo gena gar ken re ko politics la forgiveness in gora ja gar bo je gar ko politics tam tele forgiveness ko politics je gar ku min dilat edungan mele ni go am ga ba dungan ku mele ni je stela dungan ku pere kanaro kor me ko kon gan no tele dual tele bna ba tele bna wiye then and we are for sure amacha wadanak immediate family ran we are for sure ko shi binyo je cha mero cha banga but commandant chi na take intimidation cha na be intimidate ta tam kon cha kon long intimidate ka chi kon ba ban lan ruwai na na ba ten na me akur ka kur la na na ka la ju na ka la na shu so principal lan cha bi chienya human being mo te ka shok ki no cha bu long cha kon bin no nei ko ken ba kon bi yo pale dum dun nama ideology me be ka bele hi me god me je ka bok wa ko ne je ya ka bele tele human being bi nga emalat ke no ko min te jen me dia we me ba right to democracy and any president ka South Sudan cha ba appoint a political party any president ka South Sudan ba dil point ke election na dia democracy must be the symbol of South Sudan. I'm looking within Mugu South Sudan, but happen system under Salva Kiir a temporary, but GM a temporary. Let them enjoy their time being. They will leave. And be calling the Salva Kiir a former dictator of South Sudan. Be calling them Minister Medan Gerard Bar, Keno Chow Yen Kenya Yat Jogala and then South Sudan we get year. Go by yen. Ni nanek, ne you qual. Ne yu one quality can let take we no can take a lot business can we can crack ball wa jogondia telongwal ku me la dia man let can ka South Sudan na they making more harm to themselves karo ko ni ken they are hurting themselves tikan ne na kan nek ku kan hen rodian men gat ke ko ne me tu la dung noer community la point dung noer tu mi ci no nak dal na to ci lo mo gere Uganda but take South Sudan ma ci ko ma rule new government ci kon ma Uganda bana ci ni ñing la ci ni border you don't need them ci kon de dien go to South Sudan ci ken de dan go to South we dien we don't need them so no community key people of Rwanda key people of Uganda key Kenya can they different take a different ideology mi ci deal ga no ko ko re no na kira mo gari big problem ci tuk ne me ci tuk so reng ma kan ma chari yen kan te ko na ken kan malaro da ka kanata te ko na ken tin ko na chi ko na nuari o ne de ka waira ma nuari o reng ma chari no dar po reng ga yelo that is the connection assumption mi chi ro connect de ko na reng ma chari te ju mo ku kan la ga a da res che jal ajala ma gang regime te ko ju mi ji kan ngai kan jang reng ma chari ajara ma gang Ubu Salva Kiir become Riek Machar. John Garang was survived during the war at Riek Machar. And Ucha even one banana South Sudan Riek Machar. Riek Machar January prevent ko chicken military can be used against the current regime. Again, the reason why Riek Machar January Chalodian Jagaje. So didn't look at personal look at. Look at that kind of political direction. Karawa didn't look at Riek Machar. Dung ko char lak no right now ba gor man lam na no dia de no dia de ko gor regime de ju gor no ko ba mo ko ka ba pen telle dictatorship la chi ga mal en system nang na ni chang joje ko kor sipo kon ga no dia la de social media any platform ka africa to kontin we mon who got link the social media. Na me generation dan ko regime. Chi generation yang machar no longer. Yang machar generation ya kujo. Jadi udah dia tiga retire. Ken tiga nak ikan ini di. Yang orang politik agwa to ti gwa ba. Let ken small correction. Meken ken long udah gakon. mi kwa kon na kon wer community ku let kon injustice ko ju kon injustice ju kon go we are against injustice mi jana ko kono history ni chiang mi ladje community china care ko bay nak men dini jen objective ko me chi nak ko yena achieve jen dini jen chi dini ra ne wan nak jan jen chi dini ra ne wan nak dini objective na yema kini na achieve jen jen but by the way men bu ko na ngai chi ne dia to la shun the same objective community la ne la te ne la hu ge la met ke ram na community dien any community ka culture ko wi mon ke lu ko one society ke one culture ke okay just think ke any one culture to du e bra ko ke ti ko no ti ko ne char ke ta ka char ti ka char u cher kon mat ko kon ke me ne cher char dien du char ke lu ke du kan mat kon ta ba ko ne ru te ga tu du le dial wi mo ne du human nature ki ko ru ko ne na ko te mat ke regime ban wi ni ke jitara na mu wa regime joira bi rin ke le regime ko char ko ge we are war le jame
ko guy bolo na ba take conclusion na
go along ber
China te loi video dana nas TV go along ke jin ba chiri to go chikala de long absolutely chi wona rai loi de ken dial til jin wer ke te diality men dan de laden liang je yen nuore dial la de thok ke bi ka tuo bi ka teno guardian talpa kir ma no nuore o no na rode yen chiang gwar yen nuore dial ke bentiu ka panai ke jong le ma de rodun ko yen ji bentiu to ko ne chung ke salpa kiro men dan de lari salpa kir che nok by dwai mai ke unity state ke bia je de bia nen ke bia ngai te ko ne la de jal bia ba pin ke chung ken dial to na guardian yen nuore to ko te unity state ma de rodun ne GIO ke na white army ma de rodun gwa kel wai rodun ke salpa kir bia chuang la nuori ajen ba je de kula ngai ji wi mono ajen ba je de ngai salpa kir en tama che je de ngai ko chung nuori kel ke je ke nuori to ko ne chung kel ke je taban den guy dr ye guy lolgat pot Stephen Parkour to name the few ke nuori to ko ne chung ke jang dial angu chi ka right ko mama na ka gad ken ke na man ken ke ken ke riem nuori angu chi ka rajo angu pin ke jako bi right ke kir ma yadi da bi ke nu pin ke angu na ka gado okay ku gai like ku lungu ba ku le jetin la magwa ma chunga ke salpa ki kana na min dan de la jamen ta ke tengwa de beto ke salpa ki min dan de lat ba la no re dial ka ba la ji jin de mar a gai bol bai la to ku de chang nori jatin we mo ne me trama ke chare ti le judgment okay kon dial ko kon gat ke tag này thì chú có chỉ có nọ chứ cũng một điểm mà nọ gì ba có nuôi ra gia tin baba gai bol có nuôi ra gia tin có nuôi ra mà gia nial quan đàn là bộ có nuôi ra tin gia nial là anh mà quan đàn là bộ cái nial có nuôi ra bên nuôi ra bên cam chuồng điện yên nuôi ra dial bia bên kel gan mari kabaro dun chuồng giang dial anh tham chung cái kel cái IG ken dial ken giang completely lungu chi nuori chung kel ke salpa kiro ke sorry ke Dr. Yama Charo lungu pin ne kon dial bi chung kel ke Dr. Yama Charo ke salpa kir chung kel ke jang dial chi won no ke je lakina gadian lungu chi kon chung kel ke loy kel ke char kel ke no kel ko nuori dial ko bi kon ti dial bi kon ke pot so men dan ngai ye nuori ko re me bia pot bia ter ne go chia benen go ayen gad nuori chia benen go so chora mal bier ko chora dual salpa kir betege je ko warap bana chwang ma rul nuori be chwang ma be ga nuori be gana wara betege riek northern barka dal betege riek leg state betege riek ko til like South Sudan ke ni tege mal ko kuikel chuje chora de luam yen mo ta ke good news ko na yan ti reality bia ka pot ke cha gar kun cha ga betu ti nuor mu thoke ke ti nuor ma ya ke nay thì con là thung nay thì con là thuông cái South Sudan nay thì con là thuốc nhằm quật cái nuori con nuori tin cái thiel nuori thắc cái xiang coi ya cái nó cái này dial cái là đa cái ngoa phở cái tức là nuori mất khuyên ngoa nay thì con nó cái na cái tin lưỡi chân nọc cái giang thắc cái thiel mà đi mà cái này nè cái gì thì lên long cha nan no cái completely mới quan đã rồi cái tin chỉ làm cái là rồi vậy mà cho lên Benjamin thốt mà thốt vút cái là vút giá nó mới khuyên mà long ra mà chắc cả cái gì chứ giờ thì cái mấy đàn chứ giờ chỉ này giờ nó cái chứ lối Edward chứ gửi cô bên cái giờ thì cái cô khuyên mà cô chỉ làm mới nghe ngoài làm nói này đi làm phật cái mình đã nó gửi cái ôn này bị giang cái này nuôi bị cái mal amane kantu kona la 62 tribe ko bina dia te kamal again gor ke nuori ko bina dia alga loar so ne ti kona la ke thuok e nuori dr yang ma chare un mago dr yang ma chare mo nen ko ne o e jer yam nuora agadan di kon chuong e ke li nuori dia lo dun ko ka baro dun chuong so yo nang lo ra bang no why rodun ke salfakir ka kari to konde lat khor gaibol why rodun ke salfakir ya chonkel gwa kel la ai ho ba ngai jang yen mon lat yen ma thok kari chonkel jang
Okay, chagwa long jal biel bapin lona te long, thank you very much.
Yeah, well,
going to go long ani chagwa banal je ka chem radian ani chagwa long miti ka Michigan ngud tin ani I hope dio je ne tin ko motor long ko dien to yem di. Thank you very much.
Yeah, right ma gwa long ya take a kwai motor long bat chenit yeah.
Okay, ka chagwa long.
Chirai nang gwa bine kon bi ka chum ka mari kon chi lat ko rom tin no chui again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much. Chagwa jal biel ani bro dara. Chagwa long yene dia la tene ba kon mo ge mi de bo lunjok ba ko ben gak.
Antuar male karan tuar male la lo le ne bi loy dien gwa
Shorobul fanal Guro shemwa Shanan belo di magurwa Mura ba bi chudun ja Shoraba kachangan ga gamako Shorashang falban bi kai ko la bi gar ko na ba Mui ko jan mu ga fal ya unyan Shorafal kan mo ne chame bel magur Sungna di jegan suchen bo bi pare yi
karan tuar male karan bul male la lo le ne bi loy dien gwa
Shorobul fanal Guro shemwa Shanan belo di magurwa Mura ba bi chudun ja Shoraba kachangan ga gamako Shorashang falban bi kai ko la bi gar ko na ba Mui ko jan mu ga fal ya unyan Shorafal kan mo ne chame bel magur Sungna di jegan suchen bo bi pare yi
karan tuar male karan bul male karan tuar male la lo le ne bi loy dien gwa
Shorobul fanal Guro shemwa Shanan belo di magurwa Mura ba bi chudun ja Shoraba kachangan ga gamako Shorashang falban bi kai ko la bi gar ko na ba Mui ko jan mu ga fal ya unyan Shorafal kan mo ne chame bel magur Sungna bi jegan suchen bo bi pare yi
karan yi kora wi karan yi mo da wi den chu sha wi ka tum da ngwan ya kon ngai bang
Rul shemwa Muri ko lai Para dori karum Chwe ganiran Sayali ru ya chwe chiwa do Karum ne belong ga man ya chira batam
karan yi kora wi si bo da wi den chu sha wi ka tum da ngwan ya kon ngai bang
Rul shemwa Muri ko lai Para dori karum Chwe ganiran Sayali ru ya chwe chiwa do Karum ne belong ga man ya chira batam
karan yi bo da wi si kora wi den chu sha wi ka tum da ngwan ya kon ngai bang
Rul shemwa Muri ko lai Para dori karum Chwe ganiran Sayali ru ya chwe chiwa do Long the long the gun man ya, Silver Tom.
嘎里香威廉，嘎里香威廉，这香威那的国家那个龙堂天呢？
La no way, la no way, la king and but. Tonight, la king and but, la king and but. Shang you for the mamma Biasola.
嘎里香威廉，这香威女的国家那个龙堂天呢？
La no way, la no way, la king and but. Tonight, la king and but, la king and but. Shang you for the mamma Biasola.
嘎里香威廉，这香威女的国家那个龙堂天呢？
La no way, la no way, la king and but. Tonight, la king and but, la king and but. Shang you for the mamma Biasola.
拉个那我也不累的，
Oh, la king and but.
拉个那我也不累闷的，
Oh, la king and but.
拉个那我也不累的，
Oh, la king and but.
拉个那我也不累热了。
Oh, la king and but. Tonight, la king and but, la king and but. Shang you for the mamma Biasola.
拉个那我也不累的，
Oh, la king and but.
拉个那我也不累的，
Oh, la king and but.
拉个那我也不累多了。
Oh, la king and but. Tonight, la king and but, la king and but. Shang you for the mamma Biasola.
Okay, chagwa lung an thamme biben gwa ko bi Sudan batok yene dia le banton thank you ku ji share gono yeben dong ban te show ken ne next Saturday ki chagwa de gwa ron wang show da ke lo a weekend me ja ben ke Sunday ki Saturday chang ma ben ba te ga time ke wala te ga time so mo time je gwa ron wang che point ko che long da ga ba dong ben gwa ron wang ka chang da not maybe not tomorrow. I don't know, but mende bain kon ad by ka kon dia kon ga no dia te media meram bi je yo after che jen ka chow betu kon tene chi jo ko kama yi na ka gwanta ya nyin kun ya ki ka private nyin ku ya wa chi ka public ka media ko to kon ko regime na kon temalade baje ke pin ko kon mo le at the same time kon ba ban let ke pin ko balet kon ban la ke pin to kon ko ti jo ne kon ko abdu kare ne Allah ko anyen way kare la ko ba kon do ka Quran ban ter ke way ban ter ko South Sudan tele peace until the regime ke jia lia beginning ti belu no ko ro bi lu ka ne ni wan ga no dia den chung kan war community law den chung ke la ga no no majority ku den ti go regime go tele give up until the last person go anelia de no give up lia in the best church the man u tele ken jo until the regime char move gor ko new system ka South Sudan benedial equalize benedial big chonkel big pa trama ba chang jek tel to dul ba chang jek tel malen ga ngu ba ji yen jiran ni ngot ke baile ay pen lat ku bi ka dor me ku jong ti ben ku wi de dien ke ri je na me South Sudan we ne ga na bi chang gwa ba chang tin so demandan kon wer ko men in particular no kon target ke je men ko kon la nek je a quick we je me ba right democracy but te go ngot jen ku we describe country can describe just the right to be any ke me men go we je ba la we me go long ne ko ken ju cheng tin a constitution but the kon go western world particularly the United States kon area to the United States no kon United States would ne te what to go then think the people of Canada or Australia any country in Europe we mean no go je ko te chang mo go ri ga gran de be yen ye yan nang ro chai de nwa ku bi we de dia ngot e chare la ke we mo South Sudan a first country ke 21st century it mean symbol of democracy ku kan dino Sudan te na kon ki me we den te ko kur de ben South Sudan mi sha ko chen je ko me dan ti kana chen je de ran la tin go ro bin South Sudan ne sir den de che ku base ka constitution ne che la mi what la again system go ro South Sudan the man mo kan wer ko min de strambia a time and tight wait for no man tu ko kon tu ko tel to dum la tu mi na tu me dan kon South Sudan de ko tu ko Tiang lu ko no ra jen tiang da ba da dien bo china tu a long dam na ro din na tu ka le tele do miti ka ne di no di ku regime support manang na bi chu ngai te ti ka ne dia te la de man ke che la te ka ne la ngoang ke no ne ti ka long ti ge ba bi ka system na ki man ba ka support ba ka le tin cha ja cha ta ka got ke ko tel to duel kel mala te ku kel 100% so chi kon ta lan du wet ka ne di ku regime support ban win ke la jitaran mu ra ke media ke no ka ben kon ko jitaran mu kon je ko nek mu ken kon je ken kon nek this is how thing work we want to continue nai kor kor ja la dorana ja kon bam a jinde man for democracy she free ja kon del nek je ko sha leng do gor so South Sudan man badil chien system je da wujem kinata badil jien no kan ko lo kan badil chien der jien wala der jien ta der jien taraje ko de fen ko ele ko midinare ko ni chiam tele confusion mala gorka bala na do ko bar jimba jo yen majority bi achon ke system kel objective dun ba kel chaba te confusion objective ti one objective ko je no solution ko South Sudan ko bo yim ko tran po binedia ten chenga yurme mu wajin mo wa chien bi lu ndor kien bram gwa be chen tin be chu gor la je ko wajin me wajin ne dia kon do to good tisik the port gitar nugui ne dia la tie ka country take attack to one go ba ngode na unite mende na unite ne to go to la yel no one ngot constitution na jen kuna la unite ko bna do mi ngotul ba ji yen na dia to do mi na do chana mat to ngot yen go kon do to go to la yel mende kon mat the constitution ka based on democracy again very number one priority mende wo jema no ko kel ko na to go tit logro tila te kori so system ke current system ko juba shella so wo ma chel long rol ke da no we ke na tribalize ke na regionalize ke te dia che ka yar te lam gwa ma te regime so kon te loy lor mi ki liya ye gen to duwe ko yen symbol of the country ko any way we mon me na te ke ne da ngam we tin yan we ke jog tin gang we ko che da tin lưu của đủ cái đúng vậy con nó tiếng là con này lưu ở đúng vậy chỉ mấy con nó cái đường của war so mấy cái demand for democracy mấy cái nó còn nè cô dân ta để thế là vậy mà là thì cô bên đây rồi bên qua kel là thì có tôi đuổi kel mà lúc mới về cũng bị lưu của quy quay kel so nó mới chăn được tin like that chứ con give up là có con yên có con như là có con chả con your này của kiên so any system may rely on support can go here a weak system a temporary system so core man meaning then you by regime by mình thấy cái bao remove the core từ điên một ngột tham mà con option core thế nào core con middle of the war nuôi cái lưu mình gore core bảo đảm mặt bukul là bom nu biro da mat din nuôi cái system kel system core ajen bom pan wi to gol du kon ba gwa ber na o wanta bi mo gawen ko be jidde bay en rule man na kon ka South Sudan a kam nan ka ja mulat ka to ken ti ken ben ku na ne nuori ki buru ko ngai ken na gu mo nuori bene ni wan mo gawen ko ba no leadership ba mo so ma te ka tiel mo di to je lo wi ken ba ra ko wi Uganda one ethnic community ko gwa ba which bear white again go can again town can you can win ko be lo but none can understand this South Sudan ke different to Uganda particular community cha intermediate ko Uganda you can use it and then symbol of Uganda ke go point na Uganda ma tan ni great soon forget about South Sudan ko regime some ke be dia no kan go look and yen tan ngal so lia di na ko na kon bombard ke Uganda airplane era kon ko ñu do wotu kon ga paw chu ge bo yira mu kwalo jone go ken ko bu be way na ken try to be yourself and try to be ramara na ma ko so Roine ku men din yang dia ma te de kam no dia roine ku te la kep ne na de ko ta galat ke kapable bana melel ci mel ta galat ke yella dina jiya gara ma yiye ke ye ni nga dia den jalen biya galat ke no dia rodun shum kele ngi mi gwa mutel men nyogi en ke dun ko chap kurun ga yin kun ko yen long en ko so mitina ko ni cham ko men bro keep the unity kina bati ke the unity ti kon ke ne ku regime support ke ne ngai kon ke ti kon tamu ko ke we never waste time ke chon ku pidien ko wi kon ke gita ko ling ko dikan yang kan nang ka ti ni wan tin dikan ling kan ko men na ko use by intelligent kam regime ken dia na ko kon to tiene ke so intelligent nang gen ne chang ti kon ke ne bi je ke chek bi je ke wut bi je ke nyal bi je ke dol ne de ku regime support cha ga ja ku ya ngora ke kon ko men to chen meeting ka tin chen ti dia la ke tal pon line ka tin men lat ke kon te le mela cigarette nang ken ko to kon no wari di sam chen di yu do ram me anda walen pek ran intelligent be ko ba ngak banang tin che to tin che belen no ko men be no regime ken ko yu le je ka ton so ne ko rieng tru riek ko moy ken wanter information tin kan je kan war community so that is the meaning of yenta politika so ite lo kon mutin yenta bi shien betuo no wari ke betere chuke system bu kono batan bi le tere chuke tanen be tere uru ku baga ye okay including no wari ku regime support we think or wani ke dia link on social media ke television dia kon ka link so mi video just make sure she is safe she keep la to on ko the next time ba display so no kor ko politics tel forgiveness my friend Asian do agad gulen rangi ki your own country kati kujita ka politics tel forgiveness ajin way en la we more mana ka kon kane kon te gare yi chicken bo kai percentage ko diken kon crash miti kan long that resistant kon kon bo so we are the war we are in the deal na matene je by daga by right jen jang structure to ne ga jon gram no er baga daga baga right chiga succeed to do the good ku ta mutu kon 21st century ka South Sudan take independent ta country public fund kan dia kan control jen kul ya finance minister salam da wasu jen diam ka la che ne jang ka finance office jara madina jen tram chi mo right ka South Sudan la tin dia kan te me la share ga ne dia a minister of petroleum ki minister of petroleum jen la share na ma nan tan finance office jen dina jen am la finance jen am te ka power yon ni jang ten ta yo control kan ko bikan youth ko bikan yo ko logo ko jen kul ko te ko no ko ga yo ko ga ne kien kan ne ton ba mo yo ton bo dong kiemet bi da mi bela kan war community ku ja mo ga yo do your own work by killing your own community by daga by roi lalat ke politics mi cha dong wa power ka ba ne kun dil youth again your own community by net so lan ro ko kon dial kan war content ko youth na ko na ngi ke bi mo ke fen kan page bi ko incident to ta kera ro rama mo bi gar pin ko ban ke lit ke dial kan chu ke ban ngai ke intelligent an ban ke ki ko na me bu ke next time tiangkel kene kon dial ta go ta la ga yen ta ga pala yan kana ngaran ba yen te ke yer ko ba ko yita so mendin yan te dia nuar community te nuar bi dak bi won ke yon benefit but benang ni tit ken ni cham rang re la gura le rang re mi rang ke la gura la re ena nuar mi rang ke nuar na me ki yu je ke nuar na me ku nuar de chu ku rang le je ke bo gula de ke ru rang re ga mi jin wud nuar chu rang ke rang re ga rang ni ke rang la rang ran ku ti ke re chu je ke chi mo re tu do lo je run ku chi da dong ke dong ke chan rang re ga a problem na na ga na ma rang ke re ga ku jin je ke re ga ena me je re ga ni yang la gula re so na me a core of political war young community kan dalaka to tell no de not only young macha amana and amanagin where the TK ke ki kwar be jep amete ga no de nak te ga ji mang ja kwar kano ja kan bol mel angwa wani ga on kana kam no u sal ke welu de no da wi ko mun me yan pa du system tal ke president ka ja mi lel wani wo ko ka piddiel mo wo tal ke mi lu ci kwar da rek da je da ram kula ba mu yo kam ne jang yo kam no ro ka jang ja la ko min no yi ba mi wa yi yu de ngai run bu ye bi du ka bi je ka be ko ne ni wan du te ke regime ko yu ne ke je ka ngai ay mo ga la ay mo ay la minister ti yo yi wan ti ke je ki ko duel yi no sheme yang ri kyam fi ko kon ti chuk ti lo ji de tu yi no sheme ke ne me mi reng ku ne ni na ki mori ter kula reng te reng ku le reng ti ku ne ni na ki mori ku ro le ku lo rai bi shi mo la jo man go aku any video mi cha record mi cha rai tin ba di record ne dia ba te system go to go wote yen kele go tin dia la lat ke ne dia la na kon kan dia al kara kon to go ku ma te kon tin e kon ga nori e benefit ke ne dia chankel ki benefit kan nor community so the dia na dong de ma tin ko rai du to kon ngai ni ji kon bena 21st century su le char ga chan wer me wal dan gu je no mon allo ne ala gwa to kon tin tame loy ne ni wan yo mi ci ching western world ci ben gwa di ko loy kon e dia to western world kon di loy ku la gun gwa di yu je tan gwa ci mo na yen ku la gu ram ji no western world mi ci je no western world to gwa la wona ga jube jan woro tutin udi western system ci la wide ci ko gwa di do je tan yen bote mi do mi kana point ci la jin bat botin chẳng chia món nặc từ kiện đóng chi tiền tiệc thế còn cái well mà đi lội là đồ thương hoa cái núi Medan cái tên khu Medan mấy chiếng con nó cắt lại với cái núi chiếng con cái invisible light cái visible light I mean chiếng con cái visible light anything con survive cái gì con thế con ngọc thế con là car thế con là dead thế con là anything đó cái visible thing mi chỉ ran bên có bên mi bé liềm cái thằng ngọt ken đét lá cái tele đùa cái joy kia ok tin tele bé là tin cái gì đấy đây là tin anything colonna tin mi chỉ ran bên nó gùi rồi quan nó gạt cái đi lá cái tele đùa cái gì cái chiếng con cái visible light bé đàn này chẳng ngắm mình là đàn đặc là đoàn là khu chỉ là đét đặc cái ngọt cả tin yen na kula gwe lo culture an go ayan wan ne to go chiu te lo ko ne je to ko ne je but te ka culture me do dia te ke culture do dia ke ching ke te ke yen je do dia ching na ka visible light yen na kula go ko no di al maram de je ba dwal ku yan ba dak ko ngaka tin joy en tama ji kon ben ki invisible culture mita ka yo ko ba ngaja ti ga yu ku wala te li yu ngaja ji they are assumed to be war so mi ci ben ci belim ka ci ka ka visible light di la te le yal ci ka mi ci jien wa ci lim di la te la do ci ka ku yu ngi ci jin mi ci la te le yal yes they agree ku ci la te le yal ku te le menen ku ci kon ki invisible culture namo agent to continue now she was so surprised to contain invisible culture. Enera thi yu ngay gì từ đi yu ngay gì trên đeo của này mình chia đặt cái yu cái thi yu từng đi đó có thể là được có thể cái này là kẹt của trên đây chuyện gì gì qua lại qua cái tổ chia đi lời yu này trên đi yu quán cả khăn đồ đeo quỳnh mới từ đi được anh cho nên là tức là gì để phê cái mình chỉ là đúng từ là đủ số con ngay này gì to con cái invisible culture ko to con cái invisible culture kineri one no community ro de chie lamdi ngen medan wan phong ni telephone ten lamdi ngen medan dai mo ga do ta ma de mo ga do jen ta do nyang ka ta la ka te ga yo So chỉ còn bên cái invisible culture it mean become the Canadian the young more than it go because when it taught big young anymore jen kul ko politics mana di ko to kon cái invisible culture become take a work politician tibenang no kon instead of be can kon protect so yen way to kon tin go to be understand what yung kon cái invisible culture she tan run well allow the talk point to she be linga ne di one but that building ni ji kaini biga ben yal ka kai ngu ka kai ko shing na invisible life kan kai be la pin kai kelo la ni interest them do je tin ke care ke public life yen way to continue right now gonna begin a familiar ke wo to kon ke invisible culture ki kon yen ke invisible culture te kon can be understand yen kul ku je ti la ran gen kul ku je na ku baran ku and politician kul ku je te ke la self care ke da ke invisible culture. By the way, but man didn't get to con ben Western culture. Con idea didn't con ben where the tick Africa con ben Western culture. Culture beautiful law I to continue. Government be jek kick care come by jek an idea. You know content. To talk the culture and the year to trust to square. Yen kai kelu we dang na ngune tel talk. Benar not today run benada. Okay, tell no brother. Ten what loạt dân ten loạt tên nó loạt tên dân tên nó point nó có tên là con nó có bán con ngày before biết con nó biết thà con ngày nhắm mắt thế đi wood thế đi bán cũng luôn nó but and loạt cái nó chắc là mặt kẹt của gul first step là loạt cái đó loạt cái nhà loạt cái wood loạt quăng quăng quân phiêu đồng chéo đó nó khi chỉ nông lên nhà khi chỉ nhà thì nông lên gì cho lên loạt so ko gul tamani won kun ko lot ki kun ko no go ban taran di ko may ko ba go a long term at least 3 years dan kon di ko ko der ko do no go ba no go ji ba ran ti ngai kita ko ngai chiang je not lot jen ko to right now ko no ko ji kon ben 20% kita dia ci political community dan ke rot ke je te lo to mi je ko ne yo point tu ko je tel je kwa je do ne to la ya nyer ke mala to ne ndam ki to go bi je lo ko bi je ko political community bi je ko community leader dia go dia to ne te ka tin tel to ne rutin dia 200% 90% ne ka tin la ran ko do je ki let ko ba do je ne dia yin kul ko la da na community na bina ta kina le ko ta to ka pel la ne ka bị thương đến là thuốc là thuốc rồi bà nhiều gì so the year con chả thuốc bài pin cho nó bên này politics cái 90% mi đi ngang politician one cái politics it mean cái my understanding cố mới chứng ngạc là cái way you do vậy bị vậy you are lying cái giống way you nên đua way lat kedua mungkin lat kerja kena way yang dua mungkin lat kerja you are lying so kai way dah dia kon bukan nang aja gua ne kon ben ka center dah dia chicken way dia te ngot kan way of life dia ne to miki ko orang educate enough so bukan dia even more ko kai chagwa ko jiran jin visible joy ku mu lugu dual ka ngam do it mean the talk di la ko jin talk you la point to absolute truth or the talk di la absolute truth ti jan wur ne jan talk wur ne min negative mi ki talk bi ga talk ko ci talk la ko ma ki talk ya min absolute la point to men negative thing ke je to wala negative ke la na negative to talk yela ke ci rawd ga kra du ne ci ma go ke ma ke do tel you talk yela point to ke ci point to 100% to ko je point to ga to so ke be ku negative be ku positive ko kon politics ko phải tung ni tel yo kon wo politics cái do the goal thì là met thì là như nó wal thì cái bên cái system kel cái politics của tung ko and then lam la yen ye ke dor yen ye me dan cái cháu cái country kel cha class cái country kel political uni chang ki 100% to ana lam mo le de ko baram be story so mi cái politics bi ngaji una ne yi South Sudan dia cái jita no wal kan ye kan dia la tie cái ji kor la cái ji ta la ye ene ne de te kai te trum te tu de tie kan ye ki kon nori ne dia la tie kon da kon ye ke kan ye ko ne lu ne te ne tie ka mi kan ye ke ne de la tie ni chiang de la ye be na system kan ni chiang so the political goal to and then bidi let ko ama balet ko be jigin yin bro ti mi le politics ki ramo nyi dia ki bom no 100% sometimes be smart way be youth be destroy ki ngai ki be community be destroy but if you are smart enough be understand no more and then be detect be wait then be up no more yin pula good politician go ngai maladi ke go sometimes they youth again your own community ngai ko ji yin enough is smart enough they use again your own community ngai you are not smart enough ki political can understand about ko politics be we can understand politics take a game by we can mo general kon so core me ke rurup che go no political go ai you have to use politics kumla do thong ni chang be hurt you know politics are very anyon mala do thong ni chang be ya kon nori thok dan ja kon na la point tu ko kon mo re ku ba thadan chu ngai karam mo che be ko to gu no ba thadan chu ngai nen be ku ba kon manak ba kon tu ne kala to go la kon to ba kon na ge so to kon yal ban ga baran ge ku South Sudan ki kon mat ke la one country one community ku kon South Sudan ki kon ga one tribe mele kon politics e gem ni chang ku kon yes no wa ta bi ga ngai mi chirje la politician bi shu ngai wona ne ti ga gem be mi ti te go no bi du bro le te brain very smart ku bo run ku lo ka no bro protect so sometimes they use in group I want to run in out smart the chang ngai they use they would don't and you are doing the government job while in fact you are supporting the system in action more the chang so you have to be very mindful gonna be mindful kada le daga politics so politics sometimes ke gor begin to my karan community dun abilal too personal is not going to work that way ka politics chudo tuka dun run dun yo dun molga chudo tuka lele ma kele bon go ku sometimes ko politics la jalingi tele met forever ka tele kwanta forever mingi je area mo tele met forever ka tele kwanta chudo tuka chankira ando arun chudo tuka ro politics ning run ko tegam jamat ramadong pien ngai chu ning run why ke label of that subject why ke label of that subject chudo tuka 100% ka politics dung run ko tembe ramadaram mi run jamat ka system na dia that's why you have to play politics smartly politics manyan nya to ko ten ka ten between the ten mataw ka ja ten kudi kuji kur ma sometime di ke dong ya ter for a better na ba mat no anything without a change when mo na disconnection a regime as something himself again here waje ko waje wake absolute power kwanyara ko wajaran me gwam chada nang tin to kon won go so system about move by change begin ba former system move system go ben ba no ne ideal kon ideal ra social media tani jang no ko to de ga jang binaro mat na no bo chen war dien kem chen ken kide fa ko jeng kide albi do la history ku to ke at time tana tinare melet kon me years banani but it doesn't mean that they are permanent thing a change of the system nagama ku system ki ro ya pin ke mo nok ke ja goro ba wo la ja wo ko ku ke no mo agende lar kon na me e wo ki jo ani chan de tin baba ni bia ta ma lo kon boy de mo ke ngat ke final ni de yo to ko yo che mo lon jo ko jo gan thank you
Rong ye medit rong shama ba rong ye medit rong shama ba anwar mai je wi bia anwar oda no ngwi no gwe oda no ngwi no gwe ya bi ma ya go ya ye anwar oda no ngwi no gwe ya bi ma ya go ya ye anwar oda no ngwi no gwe ya bi ma ya na ko wi ya ke ka bai de lo mun no go win wo we ya bi ma ya na ko wi ya ke ka bai de lo mun chulo ya la ram ya no be chulo chulo ya la ram ya no be chulo ka de go ram ya no no yang ko wi ya ke ka bai de lo mun oda no go win wo we Sama yang wo tungri Sama yang wo tungru Kau jangan kau garpa na bol kere ni awak jadi jago Awe gada man Chulo jala ram ya no be chulo Chulo jala ram ya no be chulo Kate go ram ya no yang panga wi ke ka bai de la mun Wada no go win wo we Wada no go win wo we ya bi ma ya bi go ya ye anwar Wada no go win wo we ya bi ma ya bi go ya ye anwar Wada no go win wo we ya bi ma ya na ko wi ya ke ka bai de lo mun Wada no go win wo we ya bi ma ya na ko wi ya ke ka bai de lo mun Chulo jala ram ya no be chulo Chulo jala ram ya no be chulo Kate go ram ya no yang ko wi ya ke ka bai de lo mun Wada no go win wo we bol Kate go ram ya no yang ko wi ke ka bai de lo mun Wada no
the moon. What are you going one way? I be man, you never put. We get a bite the moon. What are you going one